of government, Congress itself or the Senate they want to get rid of. And then they start talking about all the crazy things. No police, no this, no this, no that. Are you crazy? We want a crime-free area. We have to have police for that.
Yes.
We want a strong defense. We want a strong border. But if Democrats can't say that, and they start lining up with the socialist demands of what you are to be a socialist, energy will be gone. There'll be no energy, okay? We have right now a tremendous amount of energy we're producing, and the world depends more on us than ever before.
But
we can do more.
So that's former Senator, but I guess you always call him Senator Joe Manchin on Face the Nation with Margaret Brennan about answering the question from Brennan, would you support a self-described socialist candidate? He says, my God, no. Manchin for president. Nominee, the Democrat, whatever.
Manchin for presidential nominee for Democrat. I don't know if I support that yet. I'll have to think about that.
We like to think at a higher level on the show, so if it takes you a minute, Ryan, we'll just wait.
No, I'm thinking more like strategically. Like if you elect the farthest left nut job possible, then we're going to see Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance 2028.
Yeah, I was just talking about the stupid way that I ordered my words. President, Democrat nominee.
I had to say that.
Yeah, I know.
It was hard.
Happy Monday. It's a big week for you. You're going on vacation.
Yeah.
You pumped?
I can't wait.
I know.
I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm excited for you to be here. I'm not talking to you, Ryan. I'm talking to the listener because I'm on vacation tomorrow, Ryan, is the wildest Ryan. There will be, especially if you tune in and watch us a little bit on the YouTube channel, a slow descent into I don't give a fudge brownie about what happens the rest of the show. And it happens right here, but not usually on a Monday. That's kind of weird.
No, and we got really good guests through the 1 o'clock hour, so I'm really kind of holding off until the 2 o'clock.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You want to know?
Well, I want to hear what Dustin Grage in particular has to say.
Dinesh D'Souza is coming up with us in about 10 minutes from right now. And I am excited to talk to Dinesh because he's going to talk about what Senator Manchin was talking about there, which is the effect of socialism creeping into the Democrat Party and the impact it's having. And, is it growing? Are we going to look 4 years down the line and go, gosh, you remember when it was just a question as to whether or not the Democrats were going to go full-blown socialist? I don't know what the direction it's going. I know 2028 is really not that far away, and the Democrats will have soul-searching to do, of course, going into the midterm. But listen, the midterms, everything historically speaking is leaning heavily into the favor of what the Democrats would have to offer the American people. It's a check and balance on power. That's about as American as it gets. You've got a Republican president, Republican House, Republican Senate. So the country goes, I got problems with what's going on. Who's in charge? It's Republicans. And so you go, let's throw some Democrats in there and see if they can shake things up a little bit. And then you pivot over to the Democrats and they're socialists. And you're like, well, crap, what do I do now? There's a real question that is being posed to the American people right now. And I'm going to just tell you this right now. We're probably, I'm guessing, 92 days out from the midterm election. I need to put a countdown. You know what I need to do? I think I probably had the presidential 2024 countdown on my phone before the midterms. Remember when I was like 5? I think it was maybe just when Joe Biden won. I just would count down like 472 days until maybe we're not.
Yeah, you did that, but you do it with Christmas every year too.
I think it's less than 100 days. Is that right? Is that possible? I don't know. No, not till Christmas. Regardless, the midterm, it's not going to be something that is. The Republicans are going to have to work really hard to really make the case to the American people that they should, of course, be given more power, but at the same time, retain the power that they have. So, like I said, you pivot over, you look at what the Democrats have to offer, and then you see the same party that is absolutely averse to things like voter ID and secure elections and legal immigration. Come one, come all. And you got the mayor of New York City saying, let's discount prices on groceries for 30%, mark those suckers down, but make sure that the people who get to purchase those, that we prove make sure they prove that they're actually from New York City, because these government grocery stores, they're not for the New Jersey folks.
How are you going to keep people from taking advantage of that, that deal, basically? And is there going to be a limit on the number of items that someone can take that are discounted at that level from that essential basket?
So our RFP makes very clear that this is a program for New Yorkers to be able to put food on the table, not a program for people to be able to make a quick buck through reselling. I'm going to pass it over to our EDC head, G Pack, to add some additional details.
Yes, if you look at our RFP for the operator, we are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be at sort of a library card-esque, and also we manage who's buying, and that is focused on everyday New Yorkers. So we are mindful of that, and so we're going to make sure that we have all the things in place to ensure that that does not happen.
A library card, not a license, but a library card. That's how they're going to enforce making sure that you qualify to purchase the goods that are going to be provided by the New York taxpayer subsidized grocery stores. Essentially what they're doing is they're saying, I don't know, let's draw a line around who gets to participate in this and who doesn't. Let's use the city limits. If you're in New York City, you get to participate. I don't know why. Because you're paying taxpayer dollars into it. So you're funding this thing that is going to be a benefit to you, so we should restrict said thing to the people who are funding it. And we should make sure that there aren't people, I don't know, what's the word that they use? Take advantage of the good graces and investment that the people of New York City are putting into these government. What's the difference between that and a sovereign country? You see where I'm going here. I'm not the first person to make this point. But in the United States of America, we also have a border around this wonderful sovereign country of ours. And we also use taxpayer-funded dollars to provide roads and bridges and safety and security and the finest military in the world and all of the things that come along with being a taxpayer in the state, in the United States of America. And you got to say, well, this is for those people. It's not because New Yorkers hate New Jersey. Jerseyans, what are they called?
Jerseyites?
Jerseyites? Ooh. It's not because they hate them, although they might. I don't know. I'm not from there. It's because you're paying for it here for these people. It's not mean. It's not restrictive. It's not racist. It's not bigoted. It's common sense. For a moment in time in New York City with Mom Donnie, he's like, I'm going to pass this off to you. I would too. I would pass that off. I wouldn't want to be clipped in a video for ABC 7, East New York, Brooklyn, going, well, you know, we don't want New Jersey coming across the river over there, the Hudson or whatever water is in between, and taking advantage of the good graces of the New York City taxpayer. We wouldn't want that. We want to make sure that the people putting into it are the ones who get out of it. Gosh, you got to be kidding me. It's right here in front of you. I haven't looked at the whole press conference on this ABC 7 interview, but I hope the follow-up question is, if you find someone using, not a license, but maybe like your library card, if you find someone who's using a fake library card to get in and take advantage of your very generous grocery stores, what are you going to do about it? Give them more groceries? Let them have free food from the taxpayer-funded grocery store because it's the same thing? These people are such hypocrites, and I'm not in the camp where I lean into they have incompetence. I think they have gross arrogance. I think they know exactly what they're doing. They understand exactly where this line of questioning is going. They're probably prepared for it to the extent where they can answer it in a way that they feel like kind of skates right across the top of the surface. They know they're adjacent to it. They don't care. And if it makes you mad and it makes me mad, that's just icing on the subsidized cake. These people are hypocrites, arrogant hypocrites. And when you're an arrogant hypocrite who knows what you're doing, that's a narcissist. And Mom Donnie, he's got to be at the top of the list. How can the Democrat Party right now, where they've got people coming out saying, oh, no, I'm not socialist, I'm a capitalist, but I believe, and then they fill in the blank of what Democrat policies used to exist, and explain why they could be capitalists and that at the same time. You can't be, according to the Mom Donnies of the world. And in New York City, they've bestowed upon him the authority to implement these things, and we get to watch from afar as they fall flat on their face. But what until they continue to win primary elections and then move into a place where they maybe win general elections and their influence grows in the House of Representatives. And while they are small, they aren't as small as they used to be. That socialism is making its way into the Democrat Party, and the people who need to stand up and say, hell no, not in this country, are the Democrats right now. Cori Bush is trying to do that to Wesley Bell in the district that I'm sitting in right now. Do I want Wesley Bell to be in Congress? I would love for a constitutional conservative Republican to win that seat. But since that's likely not going to happen, do I want the socialist Cori Bush to be representing this district or Wesley Bell? Duh. Democrats, get your act together, especially in Missouri. If you're listening to the show, if you hate listening to the show, or if you kind of like it, and I know you do, make sure that you don't send Cori Bush to the Democrat nomination tomorrow in the Missouri primary, because you have a responsibility here too. And even though we probably don't agree on the president, we probably don't agree on a lot of the policies, can we not agree that socialism is anti-American? Of course we can. When we come back, Dinesh D'Souza is going to be with us. He's, of course, an author and a filmmaker, host of Dinesh, which you can subscribe to on Apple Podcasts. He also writes at DineshD'Souza.substack.com. We're going to talk to Dinesh about two subjects. Ryan, have you heard of NixonMaxxing?
No.
This is a real trendy thing.
Wearing a Nixon mask, but doing it big?
Maxing, not masking.
Wearing a full Nixon bodysuit?
I know more about Nixon masks than I do Nixon maxing. Except for the fact that I listened to Dinesh's latest show, and he was talking about this trend among young conservatives. Nixon? Okay, let's talk about that and socialism creep into the Democrat Party with Dinesh D'Souza next. So let's talk about Stewart's American Mortgage and what he's doing for you right now to ensure that you have the best possible scenario getting into that new home. If you're looking for a new mortgage on a new home purchase, please consider calling or texting Stewie right now. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Reach out to Stewie and talk to him about what you're trying to accomplish. And he's going to tell you, of course, about the bagel loan, a new mortgage that you can get that comes with no closing cost. None. You don't have to pay any type of closing costs. You get to the point where like, oh, we found the house. Yay. We got a great deal. Offer accepted. Yay. Closing costs. Boo. Big boo. You don't love to see those thousands of dollars accumulate at the end that you got to write that check for. You don't have to with Stewie. It's really that simple. No closing costs. But the best part about what Stewie has to offer you right now on a new 30-year loan is a 1% discount on the first year of that mortgage. Just at Stewart's American Mortgage. For details, call 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan. NMLS number 226715.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old-timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your politician's Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, allowing politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people, and the politician's Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside Forward 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, allowing a minority of the most liberal statewide voters in one district to effectively end our power to stop corruption and out-of-control spending and taxing.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom. 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the politicians' Amendments 4 and 5, paid for by Missourians for fair governance.
Steve Ellman leads St. Charles County. Ellman has fought for smart growth and moratoriums on apartments and data centers. Ellman doubled our parks, increased our conservation land, and helped create 50,000 new jobs. Ellman has built hundreds of miles of new roads, Ellman prioritized law enforcement and put officers in schools, making our county safest in the region. And Steve Ellman eliminated the county's real and now personal property taxes. While Steve Ellman leads, Bill Eigel misleads. Eigel promised to cut your property taxes for 8 years, but never did. Instead, he didn't pay his own taxes. Eigel was rebuked by President Trump's lawyer for misleading and scamming donors to pay for his campaigns. Eigel said he's against data centers, but he never voted to regulate data center abuses, but did vote to give tax dollars to benefit the company behind the St. Charles data center.
Paid for by the committee to elect Steve Ellman, Michael Summer Jr., treasurer.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Well, as much correlation as this song might have to Richard Nixon, what do we even know about this man? Of course, I'm 42 years old. I was born as a Reagan baby in 1984 of all years. So Richard Nixon is a history lesson for me. But there is, and I can't even believe this, Ryan, I mentioned this to you, and you're like, excuse me, what? Just to prove that this is a real trend right now, young and hip, with Gen Z. The Wall Street Journal did an article on this. Young conservatives have an unlikely new icon, Richard Nixon. And they're calling it, of course, because you have to name everything if you're from this younger generation, they're calling it NixonMaxxing. I did not take this seriously until I saw Dinesh D'Souza did an actual episode on this on his show, Dinesh. I encourage you to check it out on Apple Podcasts and all the content that Dinesh D'Souza puts up at DineshD'Souza.substack.com. And he's here with us today on the Annie Frey Show. Dinesh, welcome back. It's good to have you. I appreciate you covering this topic of NixonMaxxing.
Absolutely. To quote Nixon himself, I am tan, rested, and ready to talk about it.
I love that. I mean, my favorite Nixon fact is the "I am not a crook" thing. I think happened at Disney World. I don't know much outside of Richard Nixon and Watergate. Why is Gen Z all of a sudden like, let's check out this guy?
Well, I think the first reason is that, the deep state kind of got Nixon. He was victimized or targeted by a very powerful East Coast kind of coalition, an establishment. He knew all about it, by the way. If you look at the Nixon tapes, he's always, he's like, Henry, he's talking to Henry Kissinger, like, Henry, I don't want any Ivy Leaguers to be joining me for dinner tonight. I mean, Nixon is like so uncensored.
Yeah.
He'll even say things like, too many Jews on the list. I mean, he's out there,
Yeah.
and weirdly, his paranoia, his sense that they're out to get him is shared by a lot of young people right of center. They've become even bigger conspiracy theorists because their old conspiracy theories were validated. They thought COVID was BS, and to some degree they were right. And so Nixon kind of represents them. Also, I think Nixon should be contrasted here with Reagan. You and I are Reaganites. I'm a little older than you, but we both, in a way, identify with that Reagan big sky conservatism. Reagan is on a horse. He's riding into the sunset. That's our America. But I think for a lot of young people who don't see the American dream, they feel that their future is a little cloudy, they won't have the America of their parents, Reagan is sort of too sunny for them. Whereas Nixon is like a rainy day, right? Nixon's like, things are not going to get any better. You won't have Dick Nixon to kick around anymore. This is an actual saying by Nixon after he got kind of exposed. He was like, okay, that's it, I'm out of here. And so I think young people identify with this kind of Nixon realism. Also, Nixon was genuinely a really smart guy. He studied history, Disraeli. Part of his frustration with Reagan, I go into this in the article, is he never understood how Reagan could be like so uninformed and like fix the world so easily. It's like Reagan just came in, like a day of the office, like, well, what needs to be fixed? The Soviet Union. All right, well, maybe we'll do this and this and this. Boom, the whole thing comes crashing down. Berlin Wall is, down. Whereas Nixon in a way, I think, thought that he was some Machiavellian where I needed to get the Chinese against the Russians. So Nixon was always plotting and scheming. And he thought that was the only way to counter the plotters and schemers on the other side. And so I have an anecdote in my article where I talk about how Nixon is just so annoyed at Reagan in a way because Reagan showed that more could be done with less. And Nixon never could get his head around that.
I think it's such an interesting summation, Dinesh, the way you're putting it. And I encourage people to check out the article and everything at your Substack, DineshD'Souza.substack.com, because what you're talking about is vibes and mood. And of course, that's kind of more there's not a lot of boomers out there like trying to check the vibe. They are their own vibe. They've earned that with decades of experience. But young people, it's important for Republicans and Democrats alike to measure this moment right now and understand that young people are feeling a certain type of way about affordability and certainly COVID, what was taken from them. They'll never forget that. They will always want to know who took it from them and why. And maybe there's an agreeable answer out there. I don't think they've gotten one yet. But to suggest that the young people are not okay right now and they're upset about something, the left is saying, well, let's try socialism. Maybe the government should show up and provide you everything. And that socialism is taking on steam in the Democrat Party. Talk to me about how impactful socialism is right now on mainstream Democrats.
Well, when you don't see a ladder of opportunity, that's when you're going to turn to the socialist remedy, because the socialist remedy is unattractive, right? At some level, it's like, listen, we're going to give you a big block of cheese. We're going to help you pay your mortgage. We're going to get you out of your loans. People are like, well, that's a little disgusting. It's a little disgraceful. It's a little humiliating. It's basically telling me that I can't do it on my own. And so I'm going to be reluctant to go there as long as I see a better road that's open to me. So this is the challenge of the GOP. We have to be able to show that road. And it's not just enough to talk about the road. You have to be able to demonstrate to people, hey, there's a ladder, and this is kind of how you climb, and you're going to have a really good life if you do these things. And so I think it is the sense that those things are not being done politically. To some degree, this is a souring, I think, not just on Reagan, but a little bit on Trump, that Trump is sort of off doing his own thing. He's not paying attention to things like housing prices. It's really important for the young people. You want to get married, you need to buy a home. And now look, a lot of these problems, I think, Annie, are the result of the Federal Reserve, promiscuous money printing over the last generation. I mean, I came to America in 1978. I had $500 in my pocket, and I ran a thought experiment the other day. I said, if I had, through great frugality, held on to that $500, not put it in the bank, just kept it in my pocket, what would the purchasing power of that $500 be today? This is now admittedly like 45 years later. Well, the answer is that $500 would be worth about $40.
Oh my God.
In other words, it has shrunk so much, right? Now, when people say that home prices have gone up, what they really mean is that the purchasing power of their money has gone down. It's not that it costs more in terms of physical labor to build a home or that the materials cost more. There's some of that, but the majority of it is just that your money buys a lot less. And so if my $500 has shrunk to a tenth, sure, home prices have risen tenfold. And these young people go, I'm not being paid 10 times as much, so I'm now in a jam. Your generation could buy a home for $200,000 because you made enough to afford that mortgage. I don't make enough to afford a $600,000 or $700,000 mortgage, which is the price of that exact same home. So I think this is the real political challenge facing the right, is to be able to deal with these issues head on. And to some degree, we haven't even quite fully taken them on board yet. Yeah. And I think that's what young people are reacting. So the Nixon thing is really more, it's not that people are into Nixon per se, but they kind of see him as this awkward guy. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of Nixon walking. There's a famous one of Nixon walking on the beach. First of all, he's fully dressed and he's wearing leather shoes. The second thing about him, and I noticed about him the one time I met him, when Nixon walks, his two arms do not swing in opposite directions the way yours and mine do. His two arms swing parallel to each other. So he was a really awkward guy, and like the last guy you would think would make it all the way to the presidency. But through sheer like tenacity and grit, he got there. And so there's a certain, I've always in a way admired him from a distance. Like my view is like 2 cheers for Nixon, not 3, because there's too much weirdness around that guy.
Yeah.
But I think for young people, who are a little weird themselves, the weirdness is a plus.
Sure. And I think that, a healthy skepticism of government is as American as it could possibly get. Enter the First Amendment, of course. Dinesh D'Souza speaking with us right now. He's got an article on this on his Substack, and I encourage you to check that out. I do appreciate so much the way you're talking about your $500 in 1978 versus right now. And I think about this. I've signed my children up for Trump accounts, and I'm looking like I'm just, here's in my mind, I'm like, what do I need to do, or what do I need to do and hand off to them so that they can have $1 million when they're 60? And just a couple days ago, I'm like, what's $1 million going to be when my kids are 60? Like a chump change, potentially. That is something I think that the Republicans need to be more sensitive to in their messaging, because we've seen Democrats probably since 2016, they don't talk about policy. They don't message on anything other than Trump bad. And now they've actually got a policy, and the one that they've chosen to champion and sort of mainstream is this socialistic idea, which, as you said, buying into socialism is a concession as to this is, I guess, the best that we can do. And that is such a sad, we should mourn the thought that that's even part of the discussion. The Republicans need to offer more sensitivity to that, I think, and explain how the gas prices and the grocery prices are going to meet the income that's making its way into the checking account.
Right. There are some traditional classic issues, like I mentioned, the issue of the Federal Reserve, money printing. And then there are some like wild futuristic stuff around the horizon that we need to pay attention to. I'm thinking of writing a monologue on this. I just heard this conversation with Elon Musk where he goes, in 10 years, he says, think of this. Money won't make any difference. He goes, including my money, right? Now, why? Because he says, look, what we need with money is to buy goods and services. Now, just have a thought experiment where goods and services become like widely available at a very low cost. Well, why do you really need money? You don't need money to get food because there's food available. Now, Elon Musk then said, and you can see here a ring of socialism, right? He goes, well, maybe the government can just mail checks to everybody and you just go out and get what you want. But I mean, as I thought about that, it occurred to me, not only is that so crazy, right? Because from the beginning, really, of Homo sapiens or mankind, we've lived in a world of scarcity.
Yes.
And just trying to get by has occupied most of our waking hours. And so this idea that this whole quest to establish a comfortable life has like come to an end and like we've achieved it. I mean, if that were true, capitalism and socialism would both be obsolete. Because think about it. The Democrats can't promise people stuff because they already have it. They can't go, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, because there's nothing to give. People already got those things, if Elon Musk is right. So it's kind of wild when we think about where robotics and AI are going to take us. And Elon says 10 years. I mean, maybe it's a little longer than that, but it still seems to be within our lifetimes that we're going to see this grand transformation. In many ways, it's a really great thing because, I mean, who can be against abundance, right?
Sure.
But on the other hand, it's like, what's left for people to do?
Amen to that. Yeah, I don't think we've had the thought experiment yet on how to adapt to a problem, even if it were a problem that nobody in mankind, like you've explained there, has ever experienced before. Dinesh, before we leave, talk to me about your show, Dinesh. And of course, people can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, but I like the long form way that you present it and the way you highlight different areas that it seems to me to not ever be the main thing people are talking about. It's something people should be talking about, which is why I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, it's an audio and video. Get it on X or YouTube or Rumble, and then also, of course, Apple and Spotify. Tucker used to do these great monologues on Fox, and then he kind of suddenly stopped doing them. He just does the interviews. And I'm like, you know what? That's a good format. So what I do now, because I'm doing a weekly show, is I write out my monologue. So I can deliver it in a very kind of sculptured and I keep it very timely. And then I try to do conversations that are a little off the beaten track, by which I mean not a diet you would get elsewhere. And so, for example, just today, this is actually for next Monday, but I interviewed this guy who talks about like aliens, UAPs. I don't know if you heard of UAPs.
Yeah.
Unidentified anomalous phenomena and the Bible. So he's talking about all these people who are seeking like these weird experiences with extraterrestrial, not just beings, but also sort of phenomena. And it takes you into the world of the mind, right? And it connects in some ways with like transcendental meditation. People who are trying to have otherworldly experiences, but different than Christianity. And so anyway, this I think is a rich subject, not something I quite honestly know about. Evidently, there's a whole industry of people who promote all this and have developed their own elaborate sort of theologies and philosophies around it. And I'm like, you know what? It's probably worthwhile for us as Christians to like at least know about it so we can kind of formulate how to think about it.
Yes, information is power, and it helps you refine your position. And I love that. I can't wait to check out that episode. We've talked a lot about the UAP stuff that's been circulating amongst our government officials with Congressman Burleson here on the show. So we will be checking that out on Dinesh on Monday. Thank you for being with us here today. We look forward to reconnecting with you again soon.
Always a pleasure. Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye. Dinesh D'Souza, his show weekly, Dinesh, I watch it on Twitter, but you can get in a whole host of places, like you said, Rumble and YouTube and X, and his articles at DineshD'Souza.substack.com. Go check it out. I was talking with him a little bit before we booked this interview. He has a book that is coming out, and it's called, I want to get the title right, Stones, let's see here, The Stones Cry Out, Biblical Archaeology, Prophecy in the Last Days. I told him, because I'm a nerd and a goofball, I told him in 8th grade, my term paper was Archaeology in the Bible, and I got a 98% on it. So I'm excited to see that book, and we'll have him back to discuss his findings that he has put into print in The Stones Cry Out. When we come back, Ryan will come back and join us. Let's discuss the YouTube poll. Who do you trust the least, folks? Who do you trust the least? The government, the media, politicians, or for the 3%, Donald Trump? Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote. Text us at 314-241-9797. Back in a minute. So Point Pest Control, it's Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com. If you call 636-798-0023, that's 636-798-0023, talk to Point Pest Control about the services they provide, residential and commercial alike. They service our home. We are quarterly premier service plan subscribers. They come to our house. They treat the outside. They treat the inside. Sometimes we just have them treat the outside. But if you notice that there is evidence of bugs, if you see the bug, if you see the spider, they'll come back out and treat right away for whatever it is that you've discovered. So call them, but mention Annie when you do. Why? Because you're going to save money. A 10% discount on the top of any specials that they currently have going on. You're going to save an additional 10% when you mention Annie and call 636-798-0023. That's 636-798-0023. Call Point Pest Control for your spiders, crickets, mice, pests, whatever it might be, even termites. Point Pest Control is there to help you out. 636-798-0023. Point with an E. PointPestControl.com.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group, to learn how to create your worry-free retirement. We'll meet August 11th at the Doubletree Hotel in Chesterfield at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering how to turn your 401k and IRA into a worry-free retirement? Would you like to learn the strategies that give you market growth but protects you from market losses at the same time?
Would you like to get get a free personalized retirement income plan. And did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to create a worry-free retirement. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Have a worry-free retirement. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield, Tuesday, August 11th at 6:30. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Registered lobbyist Mike Deering is not the kind of guy you want in the state Senate.
Did you say he was a registered lobbyist?
Sure did. When conservatives like Tricia Burns tried to pass a bill to take back the 300,000 acres in Missouri allowed to be controlled by China, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against it. When conservatives like Tricia Burns fought alongside Missouri cattlemen to require foreign beef to be labeled, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against that too. While conservatives like Tricia Burns are fighting to protect your farmland from being paved over by data centers, lobbyist Mike Deering described Google's Montgomery County hyperscale data center as a
very positive thing.
Deering also endorsed liberal Democrat Chris Koster for governor and openly mocked President Trump. Registered lobbyist Mike Deering, anti-Trump, pro-Democrat, bought out by foreign ag interest, and in love with data centers. Take down data center Deering on August 4th. Vote America First conservative warrior Tricia Burns for state senate.
Paid for by Mo Constitutional Conservative Council PAC, Scott Lady Treasurer.
The question we're asking you on today's YouTube live chat poll here, the first Monday of August, is who do you trust the least? Is it the government, the media, politicians, or Donald Trump? A couple of our texters here, one person says, I picked politicians. The next person says, Chris says, I picked the media, but really the top three would have been all the same. How about that? Let us know what you think about this topic. Who do you trust the least? It is 12:39. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
So the main reason why I asked this question is kind of what the texter just said there. Who do you trust the least? Government, media, politicians, or Trump? That texter just said the government, the media, and the politicians are all the same.
Yep.
Hard to disagree with. Did you see, let's see here. Are cut 5 and 6 different cuts? Those are completely different cuts, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see RFK Jr. and Dana Bash?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It was comforting to watch Dana Bash's discomfort during this exchange between HHS Secretary RFK Jr. and Dana Bash, because you've really got RFK Jr. here being, on the spot here. COVID was a big conversation this past week, of course, with the hearing and everything. It's important for us to go back and ask questions. But now there are certain people who don't want to ask those questions. Does Dana Bash get credit for having RFK Jr. on a show? No, not some sort of bipartisan credit. Because when CNN has somebody on from the Trump administration, they only have one point, and that's to prove their political point. It's not to get to the bottom of whatever's going on. It's not to get to the truth. Listen to, I've got two clips here. Listen to this exchange.
The MMR vaccine.
Yeah, I said that already.
Okay, so
I know you're flustered now, and it is.
I'm not flustered at all. I am frustrated.
And honest.
The reason I'm frustrated is because you are the HHS. You are the HHS secretary, and you are talking about things that lead to vaccine hesitancy in this country.
So I'm going to pause here because RFK Jr. is about to say the one thing that has mattered over the last 6 years plus, longer than that if you're thinking broader than health, which is why he's there as the Health and Human Services Secretary. Listen to the question that he puts back on Dana Bash.
Is something that causes problems for people when there is not anything.
Let me ask you something. Do you see your job as ending vaccine hesitancy, or do you see your job as telling the truth to the American people?
I see my job as telling the truth, and the truth is that there is study after study after study. It's one of the most studied things out there in science.
You're repeating
and
it like a parrot. You're repeating it like a parrot.
So
I've actually read the science. You and I come back here and debate the science.
I'm not debating this for you.
Of course you won't.
No, because I'm not
all
debating.
All you know how to do is repeat things that people told you and say, trust the experts. That's what you did during COVID. Now we know that Anthony Fauci, who was the expert, was lying about everything, about masks, about social distancing, about natural immunity, about the transmission from the vaccine, about the source of COVID. He was lying, and you were punishing people for not trusting the experts. And now you're rolling out the experts again to talk about something that you have no personal knowledge of.
Okay, well, guess what? That is my job, to talk to people.
Your job is to tell the truth to the American public.
Yes, and my job is to get as much information as I can.
And to maintain a posture of fierce skepticism
what we were doing
authority.
In COVID and still, with regard to these vaccines, is getting the best information, the best science that we can, and putting it out there. And sir, what you are doing is causing information to be out there that is not accurate.
Ugh. RFK Jr. all day, every day. His confidence to, gosh, okay, Ryan, I've been on this tangent for quite some time, but it always comes back to this for me. It's not the tangent, it's the point. Stop accepting the premise. Do not have conversations with these people who are doing political advocacy about things that aren't facts, things that are fiction, or things that are, hopeful policy positions they'd like to see have come to fruition through if their party of choice ends up getting power. RFK Jr., she's trying, her whole point here is to pin on RFK Jr. that he is a villain for instilling and encouraging hesitancy when it comes to getting vaccines. That's the only point of this interview for her in this point in time, is to make sure that her viewers blame RFK Jr. for creating the problem that is vaccine hesitancy. And you see RFK Jr., he turns the whole thing around and asks her, is your job here to push back on vaccine hesitancy, or is it to speak about the truth? And she's like, vaccine hesitancy, obviously. She didn't even back down from it.
This is the worst interview I've ever seen Dana Bash do. She's always biased, but she usually hides it. And in this instance, for whatever reason, she decided, no, I'm going to be an advocate for a cause. And that is not what you're supposed to do in her position, unless you're an opinion host, which she's not.
Like on the outward side, she's like, no, I'm advocating.
Yeah, and she's telling him things about his profession that she doesn't know anything about. She's saying, I know the science better than you do. That's the ultimate thesis of her goal here, is to say, I know the science because I've talked to these people. You do not know the science, and you are not approved.
When I encourage, if you come across this video, to go back and listen to it again and again, because she never responds to any of his accusations.
No.
She always diverts.
We need to protect our constitutional rights. That is the primary obligation of our country.
Mean?
Well, during COVID, we completely dismantled our constitutional rights. We began censoring people in violation of the First Amendment.
But I'm not, you're saying what not to do. I'm asking what to do. But I want to talk about.
That's something to do. That is the number one priority. We protect the Constitution. The Constitution was written.
Forgive me, but you're talking about rights, and I'm asking about a potential public health crisis that is coming. But I do want to
And one of the mistakes we made in the last time was suppressing those rights so people weren't being heard. The doctors who were saying you're doing it wrong were being marginalized and vilified.
Yeah,
and
because again, I really want to move on.
Yeah.
But
you
were saying
yes,
I
were
do.
part of the problem.
No, I wasn't part of the problem.
There was absolute press malpractice. You weren't allowing your
Mr. Secretary,
your job
is
a fierce skepticism toward authority. And
yes,
you weren't doing that. You were beating up
My
on
job
people
is also
who were dissenting.
No, Okay, you want to sit here and attack me, or do you want to have conversations about public health? I'm not attacking you. I'm asking questions about how to prevent the next pandemic.
Question, and I'll tell you.
That's what.
Oh gosh, yes. More of that. More RFK Jr. talking to CNN hosts all the time. I'm there for all of it. I will be a paid subscriber.
Yeah. That's great on his behalf, and he is telling everybody exactly what you experienced. You remember this. Everybody was censored throughout COVID because of you, Dana Bash. And she's like, nope.
Well, the wildest ride in the wilderness next. Weekends America, Monday Roundup. Don't go away.
Socials. Facebook, X, Instagram at 97.1 FM Talk, and YouTube at 97.1 FM Talk STL. 97.1 FM Talk. Let's connect.
Have you heard those ads claiming Amendment 4 stops conservative amendments?
That's not true. It actually stops a couple big cities from pushing radical ideas into our Constitution. Remember 2024? Only 8 out of 114 counties voted to allow transgender surgeries on children.
That's terrifying. We can't let just a handful of counties rule the whole state.
Exactly. Amendment 4 requires broad statewide support and keeps foreign money out of our elections. Vote yes on 4 this August 4th.
You convinced me. I'm voting yes too.
Paid for by Freedom Principle MO, Missouri First PAC, Kate Sickles, Treasurer.
When's the last time you gave your home's exterior a little love? Hi, it's Kim, and if your siding is cracking, it's fading, or just doesn't stand up to our St. Louis weather, it's time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're experts in James Hardy siding, which is this durable, low-maintenance option, and it looks beautiful. Plus, you have customizable colors and textures, and so you can give your home a completely new look while protecting it for decades. Don't wait until the small problems turn into big ones. Visit lakesidearty.com to schedule your free consultation.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC, Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
When it comes to hiring a contractor, you need somebody you can trust. It's Mark Cox, and I want to tell you about my friend Curtis Carrell of the Carrell Roofing Company. Curtis fixed my roof. It was after a major hailstorm. He came the same day, got up, inspected it, and from start to finish, from having the adjuster out, pointing out what he thought was wrong, all the way until it was done, it was a fantastic experience. And that's not just my experience. I have coworkers here at the radio station who've also used Carrell Roofing Company, and a lot of my listeners have taken my advice, and I thank you for that. Curtis goes the extra mile. He just sent his crews out to Kansas City. They got additional training on working with insurance adjusters, making them more likely to get approval on your case. If you've been denied, call Carrell Roofing Company and get Curtis on the case. He's going to do a good job for you. More than 20 years of experience in the roofing industry, and you can take that to the bank. Call him at 314-222-9529 or CarrellRoofingCo.com.
Wiggins. Oh! Monday Roundup. Yeah! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
It's a lot of saxophone for a Monday afternoon.
Don't love it.
I think
don't
you
love
do.
it. I don't. I heard him preparing that, and I figured it was for me.
You heard Careless Whisper, and then you're like,
I'm like, that's mine.
It's my call.
That's Wiggins America coming right here. I knew that was coming. Ethan, get creative.
I loved it.
All right, the Monday Roundup, a series of stories that you might have missed from the last few days. The first one is that most of the time, I'm going to start with John Fetterman here, senator from Pennsylvania. Most of the time when we talk about Fetterman, we're talking about him because he's criticizing his own party. But in this case, He did not love the way the Anthony Fauci grilling went. Have you seen this?
No.
He said the questioning of Anthony Fauci was excessive. Now, he said it's entirely appropriate to really hold Fauci accountable, but I don't think it's really appropriate to pound an 85-year-old man just to try to humiliate the guy.
Oh, America disagrees.
America disagrees. Fetterman says,
do you
it
age
was
out of
excessive.
accountability?
That's the question, is you go, really? I mean, he was 80 when he was doing these things. Do you go, oh, well, he's 80?
Are these yahoos on his side of the aisle taking a punch, pulling it back because Donald Trump's 80? No.
Right. Another very good point. But yeah, he was. He said it's okay to hold him accountable, and I think that message came through when he spoke. But he just thought the tone was too extreme.
No, Fauci, he has cashed in, literally, any right that he has to be shielded from that. The only thing that's important to that man is legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And the only accountability that anyone's really going to have against him is speaking the truth, which is consequently going to hurt his legacy. So, sorry.
And probably money. I would say that what came out of the diary is that he definitely was interested in gaining some money from all of these experiences.
But that hurts his legacy. I don't think he's going to be financially strapped anytime soon.
No, he's fine. Next story is, do you remember, Annie in particular, do you remember when there was a Midwest Disney that was proposed in Oklahoma?
Recently? Because the original Disney,
not in the 50s.
In Marceline, Missouri, that was Walt Disney's dream. Main Street USA at Disney World is supposed to resemble a Midwest Missouri town. No. Yes.
Especially with that castle.
Maybe, yes. Everybody knows that in Missouri, they're like, you show me what you got. And he's like, okay, I got a castle.
Show you the Marceline, Missouri castle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cinderella is from the Show Me State. Anyway.
We all know that from the lore.
Yeah. It's like 5% of the people didn't know that.
This young Missouri girl lost her slipper.
So she's running around barefoot.
This was a proposed massive $2 billion theme park.
Is this like maybe late 20-teens?
No, this was proposed in 2023.
No, I don't know.
And it was actually legitimately going to hire a bunch of Disney Imagineers to build this huge thing in Oklahoma. And it was going to be called American Heartland. And almost 3 years later, nothing. They started building, excavating the land, and then the whole thing fell through.
They moved dirt?
The plan was massive, 1,000-acre entertainment destination near Veneta. I think this was only about 5 or 6 hours from here. So a little bit southwest of Branson in Oklahoma. 6 themed areas, hotels, restaurants, RV camping, basically a mini vacation universe planted in northeastern Oklahoma. And the project has officially been declared dead now.
Oh, boo.
And that was really exciting because that would have been neat. And it was very Americana-themed, everything about it.
The thing that makes me remember is that they were going to scoop up Disney Imagineers to do it.
They were, and it was going to be sweet. But I'm not sure exactly why it's fallen through, but that thing is gone.
Socialism. It's just a guess.
It's Mom Donnie.
Yep.
Last story to squeeze in here right at the end is that Viagra's active ingredient has been determined to possibly stop cancer from spreading.
It's going to be a weird identifier of who has got cancer.
Especially if you're a woman.
I know.
I don't know. I really don't know how that works. But the erectile dysfunction drug Viagra may be effective in slowing the spread of cancer, according to a new study. Of course,
maybe it's
Viagra's probably fine with this
Maybe
news.
it's just positive energy.
That's all it is.
It's just a mood boost, you know what I mean?
You're killing Viagra with your positivity. you're killing cancer.
No. You're sustaining
cancer, sorry.
Viagra. Ryan and I wanted to do a commercial that talked about lasting longer, but it was just like casually, not anything to do with ET. Just take these commercials and make them something else. When we come back, Steve Moore and Dustin Grage. Don't go away.
In the race for state senate, candidate Tricia Burns is missing votes. In just 4 years, Tricia Burns has missed over 400 votes in the Missouri House. Tricia Burns just didn't show up to vote 400 times. Like the vote blocking China from buying our farmland? Tricia Burns, absent. Banning DEI in state government, absent. ending taxpayer-funded abortion, Burns absent. When conservative values were on the line, Tricia Burns went missing 400 times.
Mike Deering for state senate, he shows up and fights for us, for our farmers, for our families, for the conservative values that built Missouri.
I'm Mike Deering. I'll fight to protect our conservative values, and I'll be there every single time.
Mike Deering for state senate, showing out to fight for our conservative values. Paid for by friends of Mike Deering, Megan Kaiser, Treasurer.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsley. Injured by a careless driver? We work with the top doctors in St. Louis. We'll help you get the expert medical care you need and the maximum amount of money you deserve. Call 314-777-7777.
Travis Wilson here, State Representative of District 106 in St. Charles, Missouri's first state capital. As a 31-year resident of St. Charles County, I know the issues that are important to our residents, such as protecting women's sports, stopping harmful procedures on minors, and fighting the woke agenda. As your representative, I know what it takes to bring new opportunities to our community to ensure our children have a brighter future. It's been the honor of a lifetime for my family and me to represent you, and I humbly ask for your vote again on August 4th.
Paid for by Wilson for St. Charles. Merle Schneider, Treasurer.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Tricia Burns never answers the call. Tricia Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Tricia Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Tricia Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Tricia Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Tricia Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job.
Let's Go Brandon PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Chris Foss, Treasurer.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
KFTK FM Florissant.
An Odyssey station.
Protecting America's military families. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. President Trump a few minutes ago signing an executive order creating a commission to find ways to help military spouses.
This commission will provide recommendations for improving the quality of life for military spouses so that we can better support both our military families and the entire United States Armed Forces. The commission will develop suggestions to address particular challenges in housing, employment, healthcare, education, childcare, and just about everything else you can think of.
The commission will be chaired by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth's wife. President also insisting there is progress in diplomatic efforts to end the conflict with Iran.
President Trump says whether Iran wants to admit it or not, the two sides are talking of a solution to end the war and Iran's nuclear program. In a social media post, the president accuses Iranian leadership of being unbelievably duplicitous. Iran says it has no plans for direct talks with the U.S. President Trump pulled back from ordering a massive attack over the weekend, saying a deal is imminent to open the Strait of Hormuz and the denuclearization of Iran.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Two Republican senators who had threatened to vote against Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche's nomination now support his confirmation in tomorrow's Senate committee vote after Blanche formally rescinded a controversial $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund, part of the Trump IRS tax settlement. Senators John Cornyn and Tom Tillis say they will vote for Blanche's nomination to be Attorney General full-time. Two people in Michigan afflicted with the cyclospora parasite have died. They are the first two deaths linked to the outbreak, which is blamed on tainted produce. Each had underlying health conditions. Wall Street, the Dow, up more than 600 points. America is listening to Fox News.
History isn't just in textbooks. It's the story of us, the United States. 2026 marks 250 years of America. And throughout the year, Bill Hemmer takes listeners on a journey through the 250 most impactful moments in American history. From the spark of revolution to the battles for freedom, the ideas, inventions, and decisions that changed the world. The 250 most impactful moments in American history podcast. Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcasts.com.
You never know who might be taking the quiz.
Hi, everyone. It's Candace Cameron Bure.
Hey, everyone. It's Phil Sims.
It's Dolores Catania.
Hey, everyone. I'm Kix Brooks.
It's Candace Bushnell.
I'm Rob Paulson.
I'm Ryan Serhant.
Hey, everyone. I'm Nicole Palizzi.
Hey, everybody's Kevin Nealon.
What's up, guys? It's Nia Sue, and it's time to take the quiz.
5 questions in less than 5 minutes every day. Listen and follow at thequiz.fox.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Well, this afternoon, weather-wise, pretty...
One of the under-discussed things, I believe, from the president's administration, we talked with Dinesh D'Souza at 12:20-ish. You can check out the Annie Frey Show podcast to hear that whole interview, of course. But President Trump has a very multifaceted approach to improving the economy, to ensuring that we get to recoup some of the losses that took place. Remember before COVID, Ryan? You remember when it was like, this is the best economy ever? You remember when I said on this show, what would possibly occur to keep Donald Trump from being elected again? Like, what would possibly have to happen? I said that like an idiot. And
no, it wasn't stupid, though.
No, COVID was like, hello. And then they wrecked the whole thing. And I didn't know it was coming. Nobody knew it was coming. But COVID, we needed a literal global pandemic and a little lying doctor to get us through the whole thing, to crash and burn the economy. Gosh, it's almost like it was on purpose.
That was a world-shaking event, apparently mostly manufactured by Dr. Fauci.
By him?
Well, I mean, the response to it is what we're always talking about. We're not talking about a virus. We're talking about how we treated the virus and how we behaved socially and why we printed so much money. And, RFK just brought up, well, why didn't we accept natural immunity and stupid stuff like that the whole time we're talking about? But it took that level of shaking to move Donald Trump out of that seat, because he was definitely going to re-win election.
Skating into it. Because the economy
was roaring.
Where would we be in 2026? Which is an interesting thought, because we'd be 2 years into somebody else's term.
Yeah.
Where would we be in 2026 if the economy would have been in Donald Trump's hands that whole time?
I guarantee you the one issue that everybody's voting on right now, which is affordability, would not be the number one issue, because we would not have spent, we may have spent more money. We would not have doubled the national debt since 2019, which is where we are now. No joke.
Inflation through the roof, everything that's happened with the Fed and rates and all of that stuff. It just would be an entirely different world. But, I mean, we can pontificate about what would have been. It's not going to be. We are where we are. The thing that I appreciate about, one of the things that I appreciate about how Donald Trump is approaching the economy is that there's a lot of seed sowing that's taking place right now that downstream is going to have a big effect on our economy if it doesn't get screwed up.
If we look at manufacturing, these are fresh July reads from the ISM on manufacturing. Comes in much better than expected, 55.6. That would be the best read in over 4 years, since May of 22. If we look at
you have CNBC there talking about manufacturing numbers being really impressive, and I am looking, we have Dinesh D'Souza in the 12 o'clock hour saying, in 10 years, Elon Musk says money's not even going to matter. And then I'm going to stand here and say, maybe it does matter. Maybe if you, like the point I was going to make is that you bring manufacturing back, you don't have to rely on other countries for things like chips and medicines and all that. All of that manufacturing that ends up coming back on shore. First, you gotta get the agreement to build and produce in the United States. Then you've got to, when you're like, okay, yeah, let's make this investment in the United States. Let's start manufacturing again in the United States. Then you got to build the facilities and the mechanisms to do it. And then you got to start production. Of course, that creates job. It creates wealth here in the United States. And now we aren't beholden to trade deals in order to, potentially with adversaries in order to get the things that we absolutely need. I think that's a huge, huge part moving forward to the restoration of the American economy. Like, we have to be producers here. We can't just be people who are only trading. And I don't think that gets talked about a whole lot.
That idea that Dinesh brought up, did he say he was talking to Elon Musk about it?
No, there's a clip going around. I talked about it last week a little bit too, and I couldn't quote exactly what he said. But I mean, if you look at what the Optimus, I almost said Prime. That's a different thing, right? Optimus
That's Transformers.
Prime. Same, different.
It's different.
You're
talking about the economy.
How would you know?
I just know that the economy and Transformers aren't the same thing.
Well, they could be. If you look at the Optimus robots that Elon Musk is creating, and he was saying in 3 years, your surgeries will all be done by robots.
Yeah, but the thing is that he is predicting that in 10 years that you're not going to need money. And that's so absurd, because what do you think is going to happen to all these companies that produce the food that he's talking about? Oh, it'd just be not, everybody's going to have all their needs taken care of. Do you think Doritos is going to decide in 10 years, oh, we can produce Doritos so cheap now that we're just going to not charge for them?
They could still charge for them, but I don't know. The cost, you're going to have costs. You're going to have to buy robots. I'm sure there are maintenance that you're going to have to invest in to keep the robots up. The problem is that if you're paying robots to do all these things, people aren't making money to purchase all of these things. And if people aren't, where's the money coming from?
Well, just like every other industry, I mean, this argument's been going on since the Industrial Revolution, that, well, when you have automation that starts to take things over, people aren't going to have jobs anymore, but the jobs just shift.
I don't understand what money is if it's just given to you.
Yeah, it's nothing. And that's the idea of printing it, is that you just print it until it becomes worthless.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't claim to be as smart as Elon Musk is, certainly, but the idea that it does bother me. Dinesh D'Souza made this point in his interview with us in the 12 o'clock hour. It does bother me a lot that when I'm looking at my 401k or my kids' Trump accounts, where I put $10 in Molly's account 2 Fridays ago, just to kind of get it going, get it started. And I'm like, okay, she's 5. How much money do I need to put in a month for the rest of her life up till 60 in order for her to have $1 million? What's $1 million in 55 years?
It's probably just your salary. Inflation will destroy that if we don't get it under control.
And I would assume there are some significant things that will happen in those 5 decades that might reset the economy to an extent or whatever. But COVID definitely reset the economy, but we spent a lot of money we didn't have, and the making side of it didn't catch up.
No.
I don't think that the Republicans are on this issue of affordability as much as they should be.
No, I don't either.
I think that when you listen to President Trump talking about things that he's doing with the economy, I think they're all really smart things that he should be doing. I think that here's another issue. There are always going to be people who struggle, and there are always going to be people who will never know struggle. So I want to take those people out. The vast majority of Americans, middle class, somewhere between, a lot of it has to do with understanding how to live within your means. Because the middle class can live in a small home with a modest car and be sitting on boatloads of cash, and you'd never know. And you can have people who live in really big mansions, drive the fanciest cars, everything is leased, and they are paycheck to paycheck. You just don't ever know. But within that middle class, I think there are a lot of people who are looking at their finances right now, and they're working their tails off. They're not working any less than they ever were before, but they're working their tails off, and they're saying, this is a lot harder than it was. Why is this harder now? And when Trump's talking about all of the things that the economy is firing on, and we're talking about jobs numbers and, inflation comparative to when he took office, and manufacturing coming back to the United States, those are all good things. They're not diminished at all because particular people are finding it a little more difficult to make ends meet right now. But you just have to have the whole conversation. And if you only ever champion the exciting things that are happening, if you only ever, go around and high five, like I listen to Besant talk, and every time he talks and explains things that are happening right now, I'm like, oh, that's incredible. That's amazing. But it still doesn't necessarily translate to the mom at the gas pump filling up her minivan so she can drive the kids around to where they used to be able to go and make it work, but now getting to work and getting the kids everywhere, it's like you just have to pay a little more attention to gas prices because, of course, it affects you.
Yeah.
You just start to pay it. It's not that you can't do it, but why is it getting harder when I'm working as much as ever? Why is this getting harder? I think that there is a mood that needs to be addressed. And, I'm not looking for a government program to step up and make ends meet, but attention to detail wouldn't hurt.
I criticize Trump and all politicians on this all the time about spending being the problem. But the problem now is that you can't unspend that money.
Yeah.
You can't just suddenly be like, oh, well, Trump's in office. Now we're going to go back to 20 trillion in debt instead of 40. You just can't do it. You can stop what you're doing now, and that's where I criticize. But ultimately, to get back to where your money matters again, you just have to make more money. And the problem with that is that takes time to get employers to the point where you're actually catching back up. And I will say this, though. We are in here every day following the news. You can't follow it much closer than we're following it. Trump is literally speaking right now. He does this almost every day unless he's traveling or something. But he makes announcements all the time that aren't earth-shattering announcements, so it's not like they make a lot of headlines. We don't even always carry them. Sometimes we do. About companies that he's meeting with.
Mm-hmm.
He just
private sector.
Yeah, private sector. He's gone after pharmaceuticals quite a bit. He goes after, to an extent, oil. He's gone after grocery companies a little bit. And when
he's
I say
shaking his fist at the oil companies right now, saying, get in line. Crude is under 80.
Yes, just today. And so he really does go after some of these companies and says, what can we do? He's not forcing them like through the law to do anything, but he meets with them a lot. He just met with Walmart 2 weeks ago and was like, you've got to try to bring down prices.
Isn't it ironic that you have President Trump doing this type of bully pulpit pressure on these companies to provide relief to the American people economically, and the bully pulpit pressure that we saw from the prior administration, Joe Biden, and even the Obamas? The bully pulpit pressure was social pressure. And it was to people like you out there who are like, you know what, I just don't really think boys should be playing in girls' sports. Is that okay? Well, the pressure came from the bully pulpit there to ostracize people who thought wrong.
Oh, yeah, you don't take the vaccine, we'll take away your job.
Yes. The pressure that comes from the left is on how Americans think. The pressure that's coming from this administration, in many cases, is on companies and how they treat the American people. Let's take a break here. When we come back, just a quick break, we're going to speak with Steve Moore about the economy and get the latest, his thoughts on the president's working to bring manufacturing and production back domestic. I think it's an important part of the whole picture. Steve Moore next.
If you're a business or brand that's still paying for ads people skip or ignore, that's cute. Try a new method of advertising your customers can't mute. Join our mobile movement so you don't get left in our dust because stationary billboards are a bust. big, bold, loud, and in-your-face advertising that doesn't wait for traffic. We drive through it, bringing your business or brand right to your customers' eyes. You can't delete it. You can't trash it or swipe right. Hell, you can't even ignore it. The answer? The moving billboards, baby. We circulate around any high-traffic venue, capturing people's attention when they're making decisions. Inside stadiums, big brands compete for attention, but outside the stadium, we own the street media. Because in a world that's went mobile, your advertising should too. Try moving billboards. They really work. PinkTiger.ai.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. And to get directly to our next guest, Steve Moore joins us once again, co-founder of the Committee for Prosperity and host of More Money, author of The Trump Economic Miracle. Steve, welcome back to the show. Happy Monday to you.
Hi, Annie. Good to be with you. And I was listening to what you were saying about Fauci and the catastrophe that happened in our country back in 2020. And it's important, people are, now everyone... Fauci was a fraud and a scoundrel, but there were other people who were involved in this, including Doris Burke. Remember, she was on the stage with Trump all the time, and she also was a big advocate of the lockdowns and shutting down schools. And now she's acting, I didn't know that Anthony Fauci was doing this or that. Come on, she was Bonnie and he was Clyde.
Yeah,
and so we need to drag her in front of the committee and see if she takes the Fifth Amendment. But I think that there's an important lesson here that we can never allow the government to do something as unconstitutional as shutting down our businesses and our schools and our churches. That was really one of the greatest abuses of power in American history, and we're paying a very hefty price for that even to this day with the lost education to our kids. But, also I want to make sure that people understand that, what's the left's favorite saying over the last 10 years? Follow the science, follow the science, follow the science. Well, they lied about climate change, right? They completely, overestimated by, quadruple the amount of the impact of so-called climate change. They said that fracking, remember what they said about fracking, Annie? Oh, my God, we're going to have earthquakes. We're going to pollute all the water. No, we've actually done fracking. We've increased the economy by $5 trillion, and there haven't been earthquakes, and they're still drinking the water in West Virginia. And so they lie. They lie about the data, and then they call it science. And so we need to, as citizens, really question what they're telling us in Washington, because so often it's false.
We're speaking with Steve Moore right now, and I wanted to ask you that question for you to quantify what did our government do economically during COVID? Of course, downstream from the advice from Dr. Fauci, which unfortunately we couldn't read his diary then, because maybe we would have made some different decisions, because he certainly was. But when we went through COVID, I had said, and I almost feel to blame for this. It was like 2018, 2019. The economy was so good. President Trump was doing such a good job. And I remember saying publicly, what could possibly happen to us for the United States to not go, we'll do another 4 years of this and then enter COVID. What kind of economic decisions did they make that put us in a position where we are right now?
Well, listen, we've had pandemics before. And look, there's no question that COVID was deadly dangerous, especially in those first few months, especially for people who were vulnerable to it. And that meant, people over the age of 75 and people who had respiratory issues and people who had other health problems. They absolutely should have been kept safe. In fact, we did just the opposite. We put all the contaminated people in the nursing homes, which led to more, not less. So, we should have kept safe the vulnerable populations and let everyone else decide for themselves whether they wanted to go outside, whether they wanted to wear a mask, whether they wanted to keep their businesses open. And, we have very, very good evidence. I don't recall I think Missouri was pretty good about reopening, but, Florida was the first state to reopen. And I remember watching CNN and, MSNBC. Oh, my God, Ron DeSantis is killing people. How can you allow them to play on the beach? And guess what? Florida had, when you adjust for age, because, Florida has a lot of old people, when you adjust for that, the death rates were no higher in Florida than they were in California, which completely locked down everything and kept people locked into their homes and their apartments without fresh air, without exercise and all of these things, and without schooling. I mean, that's the real lasting impact of this, is that our kids, those kids at the time who were 6 to 15 years old, they lost sometimes a year to a year and a half of schooling. You can never make that up. That's going to cost trillions of dollars of lost income in the future.
I think that is going to be one of the interesting things to play out politically, most interesting things to play out politically, because when those children become of voting age and have the ability to reflect cognitively on what was done, they're going to ask some really important questions.
Why
and who?
Yes. And by the way, the answer to your who question, who the who is.
Who do you say, Steve?
The teacher unions.
You're not wrong.
They were the ones who shut down the schools, the teacher unions. Remember that, folks, when you hear teacher unions talk about how much they care about kids. This was the greatest episode of national child abuse in the history of our country, and it was instituted by teachers unions because they didn't want to teach. And my feeling is like, if you don't want to, we'll find other people to do it. There are plenty of mothers or parents who would have gone in front of the kids and taught them. You don't have to have NEA members doing it, and yet they shut down everything, and our kids really suffered from that. And by the way, the rich kids, I mean, this is the irony, wealthy kids had tutors, or they had other alternatives, or they had, pods of, parents that would keep them educated. The people really suffered were the lowest income people, the blacks and the Hispanics, who didn't have a chance to do that. And these are the same people who say how much they care about low income people. No, they don't.
Yeah. I mean, it's all going to play out. And I think that when the economy becomes so lagged behind because of the decisions that were made, compulsive decisions that were made to react to the COVID moment, there's going to be a generation of people who are going to be very angry and ask important questions as to who and why and how.
One question that you sort of implied is, did they shut down the economy because Trump was in the White House and this was the way to change? I mean, they also very conveniently changed all the voting rules, right, Ann?
Yes.
Annie?
Yes.
Yeah. So if we had the conventional voting rules where you have to go to the voting booth and so on, Trump would have won. And I don't want to get into this argument who won the election. There's no sense of replaying that. What I am saying is Biden may well have won, but that's because they changed the rules, 100 years worth of rules about how you vote in this country, because there was a lot of fraud.
Yeah. I always remember, I always go back to you, Steve, talking about if we went back to 2019 budgeting, that we would put ourselves in a much more like that's not that long ago, folks. It's not like we're talking about prehistoric times. We should all be able to remember that. Steve, thank you for being with us today. Thanks for making the time. Always like to talk to you.
Have a great week ahead. Take care.
Bye-bye. He is with the Committee to Unleash Prosperity.com, and I encourage you to get the hotline from that website. It gives you bullet points of the biggest stories that are out there today and the Committee for Prosperity's take on it. I appreciate reading it. You would too. Steve Moore with us here on the Annie Frey Show. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to connect with Dustin Grage. Now, he is, of course, a Minnesota-based columnist with Town Hall, and he's been on our show many times to talk about things that were going on in Minneapolis, in Minnesota, the corruption, the fraud that seems like ground zero is really there in Minnesota. But there was something else happening in Minnesota this past weekend. There was a rally to support Sophie Cunningham because she had that wild idea to say out loud to everyone with a smile on her face that she loves everyone and she thinks that biological boys should not be playing in girls' sports. And it's so contentious that the rally that they had for Sophie Cunningham, it drew quite a few counter-protesters. Dustin Grage was there. He was helping cover this event, and he will be with us on the Annie Frey Show in about 5 minutes. Dustin Grage, next.
Dad, what causes drains to clog?
Grease, hair, soap scum, and tree roots.
Tree roots?
This town has old pipes and big trees. They find each other.
They grow inside pipes?
They bust into pipes.
Whoa.
Once they're in, the water stops flowing.
Can we fix it?
The big green grasser machine can fix any clog.
Green is always grasser at grasserhomeservices.com.
Steve Ellman leads St. Charles County. Ellman has fought for smart growth and moratoriums on apartments and data centers. Ellman doubled our parks, increased our conservation land, and helped create 50,000 new jobs. Ellman has built hundreds of miles of new roads. Ellman prioritized law enforcement and put officers in schools, making our county safest in the region. And Steve Ellman eliminated the county's real and now personal property taxes. While Steve Ellman leads, Bill Eigel misleads. Eigel promised to cut your property taxes for 8 years, but never did. Instead, he didn't pay his own taxes. Eigel was rebuked by President Trump's lawyer for misleading and scamming donors to pay for his campaigns. Eigel said he's against data centers, but he never voted to regulate data center abuses, but did vote to give tax dollars to benefit the company behind the St. Charles Data Center.
Paid for by the committee to elect Steve Ellman, Michael Summer Jr., Treasurer.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Over 35 years, I've seen it all. Car crashes, work injuries, defective products, medical mistakes, lives flipped upside down in an instant. But I've also seen something else, the power of fighting back, the power of winning. Over $30 billion recovered and counting. Size matters, reputation matters, results matter. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
Who do you trust the least? The government, the media, politicians, or Donald Trump? That's today's YouTube live chat poll. We're asking you to weigh in. We'll give you the results at the end of the show. It is 1:30 now here in St. Louis. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
Well, we see Cheryl Reeve wearing a shirt today in support of trans kids. Trans kids belong on the shirt. This in the aftermath of Sophie Cunningham's recent comments. We actually saw Cheryl and Sophie speaking at center court pregame. And yesterday, Cheryl Reeves spent a lot of time talking at length with the media about this topic.
I would encourage anyone to go and listen to Cheryl Reeves' comments. Incredibly thoughtful, easy to find online, and just encourage anyone to go and listen.
Listen to Cheryl Reeves, the coach of the Seattle team there, talking about why trans kids should be included. We should have biological boys playing in these girls' sports. What else would you expect from a coach from the WNBA? What? These people are out of their minds. They don't understand that they are welcoming in to their own environment, an environment that was created specifically for them to exist. They're inviting in their own decimation, and it does not make any sense. And yet here we are all supposed to, at least years in the past, we're supposed to sit around and pretend that, okay, yes, absolutely. You're supposed to speak with love. Well, that's all that Sophie Cunningham ever did. And now there is a portion of people who are out to get her. But there are also a lot of people who are willing to stand up and say, no, I support Sophie Cunningham, and I'm going to show up and do it. And that happened in Minneapolis yesterday. And we are talking now to Dustin Grage, who is a man on the scene there covering this event, a Minnesota-based columnist for Town Hall. And Dustin, I'm glad that you could come with us today because you were there to see this and witness it firsthand. Don't have to read articles or other people's accounts for it. Talk to us about the rally in Minneapolis yesterday to support Sophie Cunningham. Did people show up?
Yeah, no, we had quite a few people show up, but honestly, I think a lot of the bigger story, because, we probably had 50 people come to this event. And keep in mind, in Minneapolis, this is ground zero for Operation Metro Surge. We have activists kicking in taillights of law enforcement. We have people checking IDs at checkpoints if they belong in the neighborhood. This is the radical left of the radical left cities where you don't want to show up to. And I had a lot more than 50 messages from people saying how they want to go, but they know it's in Minneapolis, so they don't want to go at the same time. They don't want to risk putting themselves out there, and for good reason. These individuals, the opposition rally that ended up showing up, were there an hour before our rally started. So they were already there on the scene, pushing and shoving, getting ready, for chaos. I guess we weren't there yet, so they weren't pushing and shoving at that point, but they were getting ready to. And sure enough, when we got there, they instantly drew on megaphones. They started calling. I probably cannot say these words on the radio, so I'll prevent myself from saying them out loud. But if you want to know the obscenities these individuals said, just go to my Twitter account. Mm-hmm. You will see them. Fox News even had to block out the words that were being put on a fan of one of the individuals. They would just keep fanning this thing and holding it over these women's heads to the most obscene words you could think of in that type of scenario. And now I found out in 2 occasions, our activists an activist as well as a security guard was assaulted during this process. I didn't realize this until later, but as I'm taking pictures of Riley getting rushed into the building, which I was at the hotel with her the hour prior to this event actually starting. We were getting some stuff ready, preparing everything. We kind of gave the rundown of we're going to go out first. Then about 15 minutes into this thing, you're going to come out with security and you're going to work the crowd and, have fun with it, meet supporters. She never came out until the very end because people were getting so aggressive. We worried for her life at that point.
Are people taking a risk when to stand up and say what Sophie Cunningham said? We'll get to Sophie here in a second. But you're talking about people in Minneapolis who want to say, you know what, I don't want biological boys playing against my daughter in a volleyball game or in a basketball game or in a track race or whatever it might be. Are people actually taking a risk by saying that out loud?
No, absolutely. But here's the thing, too. There's also this silent majority in that process as well. Because I will tell you, as you walk up and watch these DSA far left individuals screaming absurdities through megaphones, assaulting people in broad daylight, normal people see that. And now they don't normally see that. The news isn't covering it because I was there. There was a dozen local agencies covering this rally as well. They didn't document a single thing of these radical leftists actually getting violent or yelling these obscene things. It was only Fox News and me and TPUSA covering that part of it. No, they got these nice, well-positioned photos of trans lives matter, and that's what they were covering. And quite frankly, unless you were there or following our reporting, you never know any of this is actually happening.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy part. And because we're there, though, covering it, you are able to learn about it. And for, post 2020, before we had independent journalists on the ground covering like George Floyd riots, I mean, CNN was out there saying mostly peaceful riots, and we saw how that turned out. The local media will do everything in their power to undermine the actual magnitude of what is happening at these events. But thankfully, there were 17,000 people that had attended this game. There was thousands upon thousands of people walking right past us as it was happening. And you could see the looks on their faces, Annie. I mean, these people were like, whoa, what is going on? And that just goes to show that we're winning that culture war as well. They would silently walk up, give a thumbs up. Some of them were like, I'm a Democrat, and I just disagree with this immensely. I really appreciate what you're doing, even though I'm probably not even going to vote for you. I was like, please vote for us. We actually have to change some things, and maybe this is your wedge issue. But we had several Democrats also show up in support of this rally. They put on XXXY gear.
Nice.
They came with Sophie gear, saying how they support Title IX and all the different things that have, they fought for growing up. And now it's just gone? No, they're upset too. So this is a bicameral issue where Democrats are also crossing over. This is a 90-10 issue. Amen. I mean, and there's a reason why Sophie Cunningham's shoe sold within 48 hours of its release.
Yeah, I
mean, that's unheard of for a female athlete.
It is. Okay, you said 17,000 people. 17,000 people were at this WNBA game. Are 17,000 people going to WNBA games before Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark, the Fever were in town? I know this because we live here in the Midwest, of course, and I've thought about going and taking my daughter over to Indianapolis to watch a Fever game, and then I think to myself, maybe it'd be better if we went somewhere else and to try to take in one of these basketball games. People travel to see, or when the Fever travel, people go to see them play. They want to be a part of it. And I don't know that there's suddenly this huge found interest in girls basketball, but there's something entertaining about it. And Sophie Cunningham, when she stands up and speaks on the issue of transgender women, biological boys playing in girls' sports, she doesn't do it aggressively. She doesn't do it hatefully, the way you're talking about these people showing up to your protests and disagreeing with you. She leads with and she finishes with the idea with I love everybody. Everybody's invited at my table. I just don't think that these people should be participating in girls' sports. Why do they hate her so much for the way she's presenting it and what she's saying?
That's a really good question, because I'd have to get my brain inside the minds of these leftists, and I just honestly can't comprehend it because I guess I'm using too much common sense. But I did laugh at one of these protesters that my wife was there actually in the process, and they were screaming at her, which my wife probably looks like she's in her mid-20s, but she's 32. She's had 2 kids.
That's a smart husband comment there from you, Dustin. Smart man. You know what you're thinking.
But they walked up to her and they're like, you're there and you're wearing this hateful gear. But just know, you'll move out of your parents one day. You'll experience new things. And I'm just she's laughing. She's like, I have 2 kids, multiple bachelor's degrees, a master's, and have all these kids here are college students that are younger than her. So they've already experienced this. We just have common sense. And in one case, we had a girl here who's a student at Mankato State, I believe. Her name's Kendall. She actually, in her high school career here in Minnesota, faced against a biological male pitcher. A lot of people are familiar with that story. This male pitcher pitched every single inning, and the conference championships
softball
coming up to the state championship, pitched every single inning, and they won the state championship. A male pitcher here in Minnesota
never heard this
swept
story.
Every girl. So you can't tell me that this is not affecting people or it's such a small issue, because we've witnessed it here in Minnesota. And now because of that, we have girls standing up, taking a stand for themselves, saying, no, we cannot allow this to continue to happen. So thankfully, Annie, there's a lot of brave girls standing up out there. And hopefully my daughter will never have to experience this. Hopefully this battle will be done by then. But you just never know, especially in these blue states, as you're well familiar with. there's a lot of fight to be had still. I think it's like 20 states still that we have to have this fight in. So we're going to have to just keep fighting, keep pushing through it. But yeah, there are some brave girls coming to the forefront of this, and they're not just Riley. It started with Riley. Eventually we had, like Peyton, another volleyball player who suffered permanent brain damage.
Yeah.
I mean, I was mocking several of these local journalists earlier where they're like, Cheryl Reeves, she's giving a very nuanced opinion and everyone should go listen to it. Nuanced, I'm sorry. I have friends with permanent brain damage because you people are too weak to stand up for your daughters. You all can just go.
Yeah.
Like, this is insane. But thankfully, we do have women standing up. And we also have some girl dads like myself standing up for our daughters. And that's frankly what needs to happen. We just got to keep pushing.
I'm so glad you said that because I think it's, yes, women have to. I want Sophie Cunningham to stand up while she's competing against women and say, like, obviously, duh. But I actually am a little frustrated that we don't see more male athletes standing up because, maybe you're the girl dad like you're saying, Dustin, but I don't think that there's any sort of requirement of a man other than basic common sense to stand up and say, no, a civilized society doesn't do these things. And I am going to stand on my principles and say we should not be putting biological males in sports with girls where, like you mentioned, serious physical harm can take place. That you've got women who are the ones who are being offended by this ludicrous policy that some area states are still willing to participate in. So women are the ones being affected by it and, of course, standing up to defend themselves about it. But where are the men, the professional male athletes, the men in high places that are willing to stand up and say this? And all I can do is see it as a political issue. It just seems like it's men on the right. I'm looking for a man who doesn't have a political affiliation at all to stand up and be like, guys, no, we don't do this. We're not going to do this here.
Well, unfortunately, we kind of live in a society of cancel culture where, although I don't think like if LeBron were to come out tomorrow, he'd be canceled by any stretch. He's still going to have plenty to actually bite off in terms of a platform. But, you're going to lose a chunk of that. And people are especially unwilling to be the first or one of the few first of a major superstar. Now, we have a lot of retired individuals that are coming out and doing these fights and coming and doing speaking engagements. And there's even some current pros, but like they're not superstars that are really coming out and doing this. A lot of people are always afraid to be the first person to do it, I've found. And, I can speak to that a little bit. I've been the first on a couple different things before.
Right.
And I've witnessed the mob come after you, and the mob is frightening. The mob will literally try to kill you. Yeah. I've experienced that. And it just takes courage. And hopefully we get more people to have that courage, and hopefully Sophie gives permission and Riley gave permission to others to do the same, and they've paved a path that will now make it easier to actually have that conversation, do those fights. But it's always very, very tough to be the first to do something.
And Sophie should be rewarded for that. Her shoes should sell out. If they become available again, I will grab some as fast as I can for my daughter, who is a basketball player starting high school here in a couple weeks. Before we go, I do want to give you, Dustin, the opportunity to talk about Jennifer Say and the XXXY brand. Mm-hmm. You're wearing the T-shirt right now. I have some T-shirts. I wore them to my daughter's state track meet in 8th grade, got compliments walking around the track. It was the boys and girls, of course, competing at the same time. But a lot of people going, yes, I see that. I like that. Mm-hmm. She's giving a voice to people who don't really want to say something with their mouth, but may want to say it with something that they're wearing across their chest. This isn't a fight that she really needed to take on, but she is, and she seems to be showing up in a big way.
No, very few people are braver than Jennifer Say. The amount of things, and not before this battle too. I mean, COVID, her documentary on the U.S. Olympic female team. This individual's been a fighter for a long time, and I got to really get to know Jennifer even more than I did before over the last week as we were planning this event. We met up for a while in person before it and during it. Got to really know her even better than I previously did, and this is a brave individual for doing what she did and what she's plans on continuing to do. We've exchanged with each other the different death threats we've received over the last year for some of the work that we do, and it just goes to show, like, just you really need to have a different set of DNA to put yourself out there doing that. And yeah, I wear these XXXY gear. I wear them for my marathon train. I wear them at the gym. And I will say pretty much every single day that happens, if someone notices, I almost get a fist bump pretty much every single time. Because there is this silent majority. Again, it is a 90-10 issue. And when you do this and you put that out there, you then give permission to others. And then also to keep in mind, when you have like Nike and Adidas, now Adidas, we'll pick on them here for a second, because Sophie Cunningham, her tennis shoe was an Adidas. It sold out. Hopefully this gives permission to Adidas to go, maybe we could actually go and not fight upstream with culture, but actually ride culture downstream. Yes. And this isn't just the right side of history issue, but this is a profitable issue because this is just the correct way to actually go about it. And hopefully it gives those more mainstream companies permission to do so, because XXXY, they're doing very well. And they're going into the marketplace and they're etching out more and more of these larger companies' bottom lines. And hopefully they have to feel the pinch financially before they actually see change in these companies.
Well, your voice is a brave and bold one. So is Jennifer. So is Sophie. So is Riley's. I mean, this event that took place yesterday in Minneapolis was a group of warriors, and we're glad that you were able to come give us that firsthand account here today on our show. Dustin, come back again soon. We're always following your work. I encourage people to go to @GrageDustin on X. Is an incredible follow. Also, DustinGrage.com. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Annie.
Take care. Bye-bye. I appreciate him and the effort he's putting into making sure that we are getting the actual accurate information from a firsthand account. Being a grassroots reporter is so important in this day and age, and he is advocating for the right things. And no pun intended. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, the YouTube live chat poll. Let's feature some of your texts and YouTube comments. Who do you trust the least? Government, media, politicians, or Trump? Got to give the try. Trump does have a percentage of the votes right now. Not a winning, definitely in fourth place, but always want to give the lefties something that they can come vote on my YouTube channel for, right? Let's take a quick break. Poll reaction when we return. Don't go away. The Retirement Advisory Group. You find them online at retirementkey.com. We have an event coming up Tuesday. It's a week from tomorrow, and I'd love to see you there. It's free, but it's also not, I don't want to advertise an event as it's super short. It's like you think it's not going to be worth your time. They keep it short so that it is worth your time. It starts at 6:30, and it's a way for you if you're nearing retirement, even if you've already retired and you want to make sure that you made the smart moves to maximize the benefits of the hard work you've put into your retirement savings. This free event is waiting for you. It's 314-993-9494. You can reserve your spot. Doesn't cost you anything to be there. Starts at 6:30, and it's at the DoubleTree in Chesterfield. August 11th, I believe, is the date. So go sign up. Give them a call, 314-993-9494, a week from tomorrow at the DoubleTree Chesterfield. Starts at 6:30. I'm pretty sure you'll be out of there by 7:30. There are free snacks. It is a nice, accommodating room, and I'll be there. Mark Cox and Mark Reardon will be there, and you get the opportunity to hear how the Retirement Advisory Group will help you make all those smart moves, ushering yourself into retirement. 314-993-9494, online at retirementkey.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. Guns N' Roses is coming to Busch Stadium on August 16th, and we want to send you. Listen to my show all this week from 3 to 6 for your chance to win.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study.
Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Travis Wilson here, State Representative from District 106 in St. Charles, Missouri's first state capital. I wanted to remind everyone that we have a crucial primary election coming up on Tuesday, August 4th. No excuse, in-person voting has already begun, and I'd appreciate your vote to continue my service for the great people of St. Charles. For more information on early voting or to learn more about me and the important issues facing Missouri, visit me on Facebook at Wilson for St. Charles. Thank you, and may God continue to bless the state of Missouri.
Paid for by Wilson for St. Charles. Merle Schneider, Treasurer.
This is the new intro song for the WNBA. This is Cheryl Reeves, coach of the Minneapolis, whatever their team is called. I don't know.
I would like to see that. Somebody in the booth just going nuts and being like, I'm playing it. I'm playing it. And they do it. And then
hands going towards the button like, I gotta do it. I gotta press the button. Is there a stupider point than women in the WNBA going, we would love it if trans women played in our league?
It's just crazy. It's so funny because this issue's been around for, as far as like the real public consciousness of this issue, maybe 6 or 7 years, something like that. You know, I mean, not that the issue's never been there, but we've been really talking about it for that long. To go back even 10 years or 15 and tell people this is going to be a major source of political back and forth, most people would just laugh at that.
Yeah, absolutely. The YouTube poll for today: who do you trust the least, government, media, politicians, or Trump? I always want the people who listen to the show who hate Donald Trump to be like, gosh, dang it, I have to vote in that poll again.
Yeah, you give him a voice.
Yeah.
Well, it seems from the text line anyway. Now, the stream has been going in one direction. The text line has a definitive direction as well.
Same?
I don't know if it's the same. I'm gonna give you the options here, just if you're tuning in to find out who do you trust the least: the government, the media, politicians, or Donald Trump. 3 comments I'm highlighting all together. Number 1, I trust the media the least. Are you kidding me? In all caps.
Okay, so I just want to say this out loud. You trust the government. More than the media. Okay.
That's what. Yeah.
You hear that and you're like, well, oh.
Politicians and the government. The next one says poll question: the media. The next one after that, left-leaning media. So it seems as if most of our answers are in that direction.
We got a lot of comments on the live chat, too. So we're going to keep monitoring those as we go. Is this an easy answer for you? Who do you trust the least? Government, media, politicians, or Trump?
No, it's not an easy answer.
Okay. We'll talk more about it with your feedback coming in here at 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Make sure you check out the Annie Frey Show podcast today. Dinesh D'Souza in the 12 o'clock hour talking about NixonMaxxing. Did you like his interview? Did you learn a little bit about NixonMaxxing?
Yeah, that's an interesting topic.
Nixon. Yeah, it's bizarre. Gen Z is super into Richard Nixon? Oh, okay. If you say so. We learned a little bit about that in the noon hour. You can check out the podcast. 2 o'clock hour, right around the corner. Don't go away.
Doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC. Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. If you haven't reached out to Matt Hayes yet about your wet basement, there's still time. 314-271-9900. Really, you only have time. That's all you have. That and a wet basement until you get a solution provided to you. If you meet Matt Hayes, you're going to be talking to him in your basement saying, here's where the water comes in. I've noticed this, this, and that. He's going to point out that, and that. And then you're going to realize this problem is probably bigger than you expected it to be. That's the way it was for my husband and I a long time ago, before I knew Matt Hayes and Home Shield Foundation Repair. We thought the basement situation was bad. When we had a professional look at it, it turned into, oh my gosh, this is worse than we expected. We have to get this done. You don't know what you don't know, but Matt Hayes knows, and Home Shield Foundation Repair knows. So give them a call. See what they know. Have them come over and provide you a solution to your wet basement problem. 314-271-9900. 314-271-9900. Reach Matt Hayes at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Listen up. If you have not paid self-employment, business, or individual taxes in years, the IRS will find you. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. I offer real solutions. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Story, today, and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal, or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. At the Lance Story Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
This is The Last Chance on Jack Callahan, Fox News. That warning for Iran from President Trump a short time ago about talks to end the conflict. Talks which the president says are ongoing.
When we talk, we say we're talking. If we're not talking, when you ask me, no, we're not talking, I'll say it. But we are talking right now. We're talking, and we're talking at the request of Iran.
The president called off airstrikes against Iran over the weekend.
President Trump saying for the moment the U.S. is holding off against any major strike against Iran. The president saying that that decision comes after consultation with allies, including Saudi Arabia. But the attacks, the president warned, if they were to take place, would have been simply overwhelming for Iran.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in Tel Aviv. Crude oil falling below $80 a barrel in trading today. The national average price for gasoline unchanged, though. According to AAA, the president says oil companies are making too much money and he doesn't like it. Easing tensions in the Middle East pushing stocks higher. The Dow up more than 660 points. NASDAQ and the S&P 500 also higher. President has signed an executive order creating a commission to suggest ways to better support military spouses as military recruiting continues to climb.
After hitting a low in fiscal year 2022, Army recruiting has climbed every year since, up nearly 38% overall, with the biggest jump coming in fiscal year 2025. The Army has already met its annual recruiting goal for 2026 months ahead of schedule.
Fox's Brooke Taylor. Senate confirmation for acting Attorney General Todd Blanche to take that job permanently, now more likely. Two Republican senators, John Cornyn of Texas and Tom Tillis of North Carolina, had been threatening to block Blanche's confirmation, but now say they will vote for it in tomorrow's Senate committee vote. Blanche over the weekend rescinding plans for a $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund. America is listening to Fox News.
Fox News Books has boasted a host of bestsellers. Now, Fox News Books enters the world of podcasting. This season, the Fox News Books podcast presents The Miracles Among Us. For its first season, Fox News Books will present this special podcast brought to you by the author, Fox News senior medical analyst, Dr. Mark Siegel. The Miracles Among Us on the Fox News Books podcast. Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you download podcasts.
Hello, everyone. This is Ainsley Earhart. Thank you for joining me for the 52-episode podcast series, The Life of Jesus.
Neil McDonough portrays Jesus. Stacey Keach, Sean Astin, Michael York, and Kristen Bell provide the voices for some of Jesus' notable followers. A listening experience that will provide hope, comfort, and understanding of the greatest story ever told, The Life of Jesus.
Make sure to spread the word.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Well, this afternoon, weather-wise, pretty easy to take for early August.
All right, so there's a story out. Let's talk about a Republican congressman here for a hot second. There is a story that is breaking today. It's an ethics report situation regarding a Republican congressman. And, you know, I think the question that I want to preface before I give you the details here is specifically if there's a power differential, power structure, you don't have to be a congressman and a staffer. But every job, there are levels of authority. Should there be like some sort of definitive set rules on gift giving?
Like between colleagues?
Or colleagues or people who are in a position where there is some maybe authority or whatever. Should there be any sort of rules, HR requirements or regulations on the act of gift giving? What do you think, Brian?
That's tough because if we're talking about government, then there probably should be rules. If you're talking about companies...
And I'm talking intra-staff.
Yeah.
Not like in government, you could always bring in, like, if there's gifts being exchanged, then maybe there's some bribes or anything.
Uh-huh.
Just talking about this is the person who
so it's
gets
not,
my morning coffee or...
It's not a lobbyist in there.
No.
pulling favors. Okay. So I still think maybe if it's government, there should be a code of ethics that each chamber could give itself.
So if government, then why not
Why not companies?
any company?
And the companies would be able to determine that for themselves. So
Sure.
I don't think that should be a top-down edict. But I do think that there should be some ground rules. There kind of are ground rules.
Are they?
They're unspoken.
Yeah, let's just say they're.
They're unspoken. Yeah, but they do exist. I mean, if a boss, picture if there's a male boss.
Okay, now you've scooped my second follow-up question.
Okay. Okay, well then go ahead.
Because I don't think that, I don't want to answer the question about in between the two sexes until we set the tone. Like, maybe it doesn't matter if it's in between sexes, if it's male to female, female to male, that the gift is being exchanged. If we say that there should be regulations on gift giving within a professional setting and it doesn't have anything to do with the gender, then I want to set that first tone. But obviously.
Well, obviously, because you're talking about, social nuance here. But there, you could say that it could go either way, too, because if you have, and don't even put a gender on, a 50-year-old person who's in a position of power at a company, whether it's a female or a male, it doesn't matter. And then they are giving lavish gifts to a 19-year-old who works for them.
Male or
doesn't really
same
matter.
Gender, non.
Well, I think opposite gender probably more. Like if it's a female, 50 years old, giving it to a male, or it's a male, 50-year-old, giving it to a 19-year-old female, especially, you would say that is suspect, and everybody's eyebrows raise. So I don't even know if I'm sort of answering my own question. I don't know if you need to add.
So you're adding not just the sex of the two people involved in the gift giving, receiving. You're also adding an age. You're an ageist.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because there is a power structure no matter what, if it's boss and employee. But the age absolutely makes a difference too.
So you as an older man and me as a younger woman, I should stop giving you gifts.
You should never stop giving me gifts.
Okay.
You
Brad,
should
what do
give
you
me
think?
more gifts.
Okay. You're like, but with this little exception.
But I am older than you, so.
Yeah. And I'm not your boss.
And that breaks that rule.
Obviously.
So. Brad.
What do I think?
Yeah, Brad, what do you think about Annie giving me gifts?
I think she should continue to give you gifts.
I agree. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I don't think so.
Well, I guess we solved that. What are we going to do for the rest of this segment?
No, I don't know. There are unspoken rules, but maybe those rules need to start being spoken because, like, whenever somebody starts getting lavish gifts and there's a huge age gap, it starts indicating that maybe there's other impropriety going on.
What if there's not?
There's not other impropriety going on. There is an intention for there to be.
What if there's not? Is it possible
There
there's not?
is an intention. It is not possible. If it's a one-off thing, like, hey, I just really appreciate you helping me out with whatever, and it happens one time, I guess it depends on the size of the gift too. But because if it's like, I just got you a car.
Now you're saying size matters.
Yes, I am.
First it was power structure, then it was gender, now it was age, and now it's size.
And motion in the ocean.
I don't know what you're talking about. Fox News reports this afternoon, Elizabeth Elkind reports on FoxNews.com, GOP lawmakers' gifts effusive affection towards young staffers detailed in explosive
young
ethics
staffers.
Report. Yeah, I know. We
went there and didn't
hit
know it.
777 on the old slot machine here. House GOP lawmakers accused of sexually harassing two, quote, young female staffers. I wonder why that's in quotes. Kind of seems like
Quote,
it is or it
sexually harassing?
No. Sexually harassing was not quoted. Young female staffers was.
That's also kind of weird.
To me, it's like somebody who was 36 and they're like, I don't know if you're young anymore. And they're like, just say that they are.
They're, young.
And it said female in quotes because they asked a Democrat and they're like, how would I even
I don't know if that's a female or not.
In his office, in an explosive report that details lavish gifts, trips. And here's where I want to jump off the bridge, even reciting a poem for one of the aides in an incident that made others in his office uncomfortable. Imagine Steve coming in here and reciting a poem. That's impossible.
I'd be flattered.
To you, Ryan. It'd be okay because you're both dudes.
Yep.
I'd
say, oh my gosh, and I put my hand on my chest. Steve.
Oh.
That was so cute.
Oh. That's better
Take
than
me
the last poem the
now
guy
take me
read
on a trip.
I know. Suddenly, Ryan's like, Not only am I not going to push back on it, I'm encouraging.
Sir, I am for sale.
He's cheap, too. The House Ethics Committee is recommending a censure for Congressman Chuck Edwards of North Carolina. Chuck. After an extensive probe found that he violated the House of Representatives Code of Conduct, which repeated incidents targeting the two staffers.
So they do have a code of conduct.
Here's from the report. Quote, specifically, the committee found that Representative Edwards engaged in persistent, unprofessional, and inappropriate conduct towards two young female staffers, while Representative Edwards denied that any of his conduct was intended as a sexual or romantic advance. His pattern of behavior would lead a reasonable observer to interpret it as such, including providing the young women with lavish and recurrent gifts, making comments regarding their appearance and dress, inviting them to intimate dinners and vacations, and sending notes regarding his effusive affection, and inviting them to other activities as a way to spend time together. Ryan is like, where do I apply?
You know what you don't have to do if you are one of those young female staffers is go to intimate dinners and vacations with him.
Here's a question. Let's pull back from Mr. I was going to say Norris, but it appears to be Chuck Edwards, not Norris.
Not Chuck Norris.
Let's go through some of the things that he was accused of, and let's pull him out of the context of the broader grouping of things and find out if we think that these things are okay in intersex. No, it would be between, because we just believe in two.
If it was a guy giving gifts to two young men, it would be intra.
Okay, because it's within.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a little semantical stuff. Let's talk about these things individually and see if you think, because this is certainly congressmen and staffers, huge definitive line of authority there. But also, if these things are okay among coworkers, maybe not with the power structure involved. And let's discuss if it's okay girl to girl, boy to boy.
I want to say on record right now before we even start this.
I know you still want gifts.
That if the congressman said to those young women, hey, why don't you come to my office? I'm going to make you a big star. That's inappropriate.
I think he's from North Carolina. I don't think he talks like that. Okay. Are these things inappropriate? This is from the report, reading it directly from foxnews.com. Engage in persistent, unprofessional, and inappropriate conduct towards two young female staffers. He said, this is his defense, this wasn't a sexual or romantic advance.
Good for him.
Mm-hmm. That's what I would say if I were in his shoes. Providing young women with lavish and recurrent gifts. So fancy things on the regular. Can you do that?
When you do it to two, not just one young woman.
Wait, that makes it okay or not okay? I don't know which way you're going with this. Because it's not like targeting one person. It's not targeting.
I would say that makes it a little better. It's inappropriate regardless.
It's two.
It's just inappropriate.
If it's your whole office, different story.
Yeah.
If it's just the cute ones. His pattern, let's see here. Lavish and recurrent gifts. What if the congressman was a congresswoman and he was giving lavish and recurrent gifts to his staffers who were female? And she. Everyone's heterosexual.
Okay. She is a congresswoman giving gifts to her staffers who are also women.
Lavish and recurrent.
Everybody's hetero. I think it's fine.
It's just the two, though? It's not the whole staff?
I don't know. Maybe the staff is two people.
I think that changes it. I think that's probably okay. I'd be a little bit like eyebrow raised about it, but
no, you wouldn't. If you're on Hill, you'd be like, "How do I work for her?"
Yeah, but I also
So it's the gender. Yeah. It's the gender separation that makes that's the thing that makes this wrong in your mind.
It's if there's any indication that it's a sexual advancement, because that could be hetero or homosexual, either way.
Right. Whenever you talk about a woman giving gifts to younger women and that sort of thing, it seems more like a mentorship than a...
Like, what if she has the means to do it and these girls want nice things and she can make it happen for him?
Yeah.
I think that the same sex makes it okay in a heterosexual climate. Making comments regarding their appearance and dress. Is this appropriate in the context that it's being provided? Congressman making comments regarding their appearance and dress to younger female staffers.
In 2026, you got to be smarter than that, dude. you know that this stuff's going to come back. So he's floating out there a little carrot to see. Is there any nibble here?
You're saying he's fishing.
Yeah, he's fishing for sure.
Brad, what do you think?
I don't have enough information. I need to know what the comments are. Because if it's like, oh, you look nice today, in that tone.
Isn't that fishing?
Not really. It's just being polite or nice.
In 2026, it's 100% fishing.
Well, especially in the context of being a politician with staffers. You just can't do it. You can't do that.
What about if it's heterosexual female congresswoman? Oh, I love that dress. You look great today. Okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Completely okay.
Yeah.
Opposite genders, heterosexual situation? No.
No.
What if it's coworkers that you're in the same environment, men and women alike? Do we compliment one another on how we look, Ryan?
Very generally, you could say yes.
What would you say? What is okay?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, based on the way that we would all talk to each other, it's almost nothing.
We don't say anything.
We don't say anything like that.
Do you find yourself holding back complimenting how great I look every day?
I would
Because
say
the last time you described me, you just said words like
She's
nouns.
a blonde lady
flowers,
with a face. Yeah.
Fashion lady.
Eyes in head.
No, you said lots of teeth.
Yeah, she had lots of teeth.
Quote, lots of teeth.
Yeah.
Brad, what about if it's just coworkers?
I hold back compliments.
You can tell Ryan what you think right now.
No,
Go ahead.
It looks awful. No.
It?
Yeah.
I am not an it, Brad.
No, I don't.
Wait. Go back to define the it. What looks awful?
His hat.
What's wrong
My
with his
head?
hat? Your
It's
hat.
awful.
Is it egg-shaped, my head?
Hat.
Ugh, now I'm going to be thinking about it all day.
No, I don't. I just hold back compliments. More often than not, compliments are not wanted. Even if they are wanted, they're not wanted. So I just don't do it.
Even if they are wanted, they're not wanted?
Yeah, I do think that women like being complimented, but they just don't want you to do it. So
Maybe it's that women like to be complimented at the right place or at the right place and time by the right person.
Right. Not you.
Which I think is the point here in this article, which is saying that, like, Congressman Edwards, this is the wrong place, wrong time, wrong person. Like, this is just not your responsibility.
This dude is clearly going after those two girls.
Unless he's fishing.
He is.
Which is the word that Ryan said. I know we're going a little bit long here, but I want to finish this up here. Lavish and recurrent gifts, comments regarding their appearance and dress. So it also says comments. It doesn't say compliments. So I don't know. Maybe he hated.
Did it say anything in the article about him being married or not?
No, I have to look that up. Inviting them to intimate dinners and vacations.
What is an intimate dinner? Is it like at the melting pot?
I've never been. Wouldn't mind going. What I would think an intimate dinner means the purpose of the dinner is so that you two, or I don't know, three, can have. The dinner is for the company of those people.
Okay.
Not like, I'm going to meet with these other three congressmen and they're bringing their staffers. You should come too. Not intimate.
So intimate could be at a restaurant where you walk in, ring the bell, and everybody goes, hey! But it's just you guys.
Is that the melting pot?
I don't know. That's not the melting pot. I think that's Long John Silver's or Captain D's, where you ring the bell when you leave.
I don't know if an intimate dinner has ever happened at Captain D's. No shade whatsoever, but I'm just saying.
We got to find out from the girls, where were these intimate dinners?
Sending notes regarding his effusive affection.
Effusive? He's sending notes and writing poetry to him. I think we know where this is headed.
Effusive is an adjective that means expressing very strong, happy, or loving feelings in an open and excited way.
Did the girls accept all the gifts and the dinners and the vacations? I need to know that.
And inviting them to other activities as a way to spend time together.
Just going hiking.
Can you have a boss and a friend who you want to do these things with, have that be the age gap, as you pointed out before we got into the details, have it be male, female, heterosexual. I'm sure it could be same sex in a homosexual way and be as inappropriate as the heterosexual way. Can there be an existence where these actions are appropriate?
What's the name of the congressman?
Chuck Edwards.
Chuck Edwards. There is one circumstance where all of this is appropriate. And that is if that man is a eunuch.
You're like, I can go on this vacation, but I need to check something first.
That is the only way in which these things could be interpreted as just friends.
Chuck Edwards is married to Teresa Edwards, married since 1980, lives in Flat Rock, North Carolina.
Poor Teresa Edwards.
Married over 45 years.
I don't like it.
Winsy face.
Let's get Teresa on the show.
Teresa will be with us when we come back.
Wow. Nice job, Brad.
Oh, close. Ethan.
Oh, Ethan. Oh, okay.
Ethan as Teresa.
So Teresa, maybe sometime this week, could do Sports and Local.
Okay. Sports and Local with Ethan or with Teresa Edwards next. I don't know. Vote in the YouTube poll. Who do you trust the least? The government, media, politicians, or Trump? Back in a minute.
Of the Retirement Advisory Group to learn how to create your worry-free retirement. We'll meet August 11th at the Doubletree Hotel in Chesterfield at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering how to turn your 401k and IRA into a worry-free retirement? Would you like to learn the strategies that give you market growth but protects you from market losses at the same time?
Would you like to get a free personalized retirement income plan? And did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to create a worry-free retirement. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Have a worry-free retirement. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the Doubletree Hotel in Chesterfield, Tuesday, August 11th at 6:30. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Steve Ellman leads St. Charles County. Ellman has fought for smart growth and moratoriums on apartments and data centers. Ellman doubled our parks, increased our conservation land, and helped create 50,000 new jobs. Ellman has built hundreds of miles of new roads. Ellman prioritized law enforcement and put officers in schools, making our county safest in the region. And Steve Ellman eliminated the county's real and now personal property taxes. While Steve Ellman leads, Bill Eigel misleads. Eigel promised to cut your property taxes for 8 years, but never did. Instead, he didn't pay his own taxes. Eigel was rebuked by President Trump's lawyer for misleading and scamming donors to pay for his campaigns. Eigel said he's against data centers, but he never voted to regulate data center abuses, but did vote to give tax dollars to benefit the company behind the St. Charles Data Center.
Paid for by the committee to elect Steve Ellman, Michael Summer Jr., Treasurer.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old-timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your politician's Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, allowing politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people, and the politician's Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside Forward 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, allowing a minority of the most liberal statewide voters in one district to effectively end our power to stop corruption and out-of-control spending and taxing.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom. 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the politicians' Amendments 4 and 5, paid for by Missourians for fair governance.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
Check it out.
Sports and local.
In a 3-hour daily marathon of a show, here's the one segment you might consider for a bathroom break.
What?
Wow, I do not remember that. That was a long message.
Ryan.
That one does not come up very often.
Speaking of, right?
Although the sentiment is true.
Since you're talking about bathroom breaks, do you need to take a bathroom break?
No, I just burping out whatever's causing my stomach problems.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for asking.
He's got a little cyclospora brewing before he goes on vacation.
I hope he gets cyclospora.
Oh, no,
That's
rude. Brutal.
That is rude, although this segment is something that people should not listen to. So it doesn't matter.
Sports and local. Ethan?
Sports and local. It is a very big day in the baseball world. It is trade deadline day.
Is it Bobby Bonilla Day?
No. That is another big day, but
for Bobby Bonilla especially.
Only, actually.
The beginning of the downfall of baseball, deferred payment.
Yeah.
Okay. It is deadline day, and the stove is piping hot. The Cardinals have just made their first move of the afternoon.
I didn't know that.
They will be trading starting pitcher Dustin May and relief pitcher JoJo Romero to the Milwaukee Brewers.
They are cashing in.
I gotta text somebody right now
the
and
division.
be mad about that. What did we get?
That part has still not been released. So we are in the middle of
kidding.
Waiting and just seeing what happens. So that was reported by Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic. So it is quite literally waiting and seeing time. Here's the good news. The Brewers have one of the best farm systems in baseball. The bad news is that they didn't get to being where they are by not making phenomenal trades. So anytime that you make a trade with the Brewers, you get a little bit nervous that you maybe got fleeced. The other part of that that's bad is now you got to face off against those two guys a couple of times this year. But waiting to see what exactly happens, who the Cardinals are getting back in return. Very likely this is going to be prospects back. They're not going to be getting, I would be shocked if they got anyone. At least that would be the headliner of this deal that was already at the major league level. Ryan Braun. Ask me about 10 years ago.
He cheated and then, relentlessly. I don't know if he got booed anywhere else, but when he would come to St. Louis, after the cheating scandal or whatever, St. Louis would just show up just to boo the heck out of him.
Here's what I'll say about Ryan Braun, though. Ryan Braun fessed up to it, and a lot of people in the game aren't willing to do that. They're not willing to come out and say, I did the wrong thing, I am sorry. And he did that. So I have a level of respect for him that I don't for a lot of people that have gotten caught cheating. You would think that if you got caught cheating, that would be the obvious, okay, it's time to fess up. But that doesn't happen as often as you would think.
What kind of cheating were we talking about? The kind where you take young staffers out?
Yeah.
You gotta turn your
performance
microphone on.
enhancing. Well, it's off again.
Plagiarism,
over here.
Ryan.
Plagiarism. Oh my gosh! Did he take a Joe Biden
Different
speech?
kind of pee.
That'd be like double plagiarism.
I don't know what to say to that.
Here's a question: are the Brewers going to be helped by Dustin May and JJ Romero?
I would think so. I mean, you look at what Dustin May has been for a large portion of the year, excluding a handful of starts. I mean, we're talking 4 or 5 starts. He has been a very good pitcher for the Cardinals. That was a great signing by Chaim Bloom in the offseason. I mean, he paid $13 million, or I guess a little less than that for the amount of time they had him. And out of it, you're going to get at least a couple of prospects that you wouldn't have had prior. So he helped the Cardinals certainly during his time here. So that was in my opinion, that was a great signing. And Dustin May's had a really good year. JoJo Romero is currently on the injured list. He had appendicitis a few weeks ago and had to get an appendectomy, so had to have his appendix removed.
Been there, done that.
So there is not a clear timetable for his return. Typically, I believe full recoveries are somewhere between 4 and 6 weeks for that.
It's not.
It kind of varies. It's not
a huge surgery, but you're also not, I didn't have to go perform physically in the way that he did.
Sure. That part is still up in the air. We haven't heard anything regarding when he will be back, but he will be back for a postseason run. That is a slam dunk guarantee. The Brewers aren't acquiring JoJo Romero to help them out today on August 3rd. They're acquiring him so that they have some depth in their bullpen during the postseason when they got to face off against the Los Angeles Dodgers, who have pretty much acquired everything but I think 1 or 2 of the last Infinity Stones. They're in a pretty good spot.
And the kitchen
pretty
sink.
Ridiculous. Yes,
Everything.
Ryan. Thank you. Appreciate that. So if we hear anything else on the Cardinals, we certainly will update you as far as upcoming trades being made.
What about with Baltimore?
Big trade made by the Baltimore Orioles.
Who'd they trade?
They traded Adley Rutschman, their star catcher, to the Boston Red Sox, and they got a haul back. I believe they got 5 prospects back, including I think there was 3 in the in the Red Sox system. So the Orioles certainly got a package for Adley Rutschman, who will be the new catcher of the Boston Red Sox. Haven't looked too much into who won that trade or not, but yeah, that's probably been the biggest trade besides Tarek Skubal to the Los Angeles Dodgers of the trade deadline so far. It's been a very busy day. There's been a lot of moves. The Cubs have made a couple of moves. They've added some starting pitching. The Pirates have made some moves. The NL Central has the most teams in contention for the postseason. You could still argue that all 5 teams in the NL Central are technically in contention.
Would
for the
you
postseason.
argue that?
I mean, yeah, if you look at the standings, yes. Do I think that the Cardinals will make it? No. Do I think the Reds will make it? No. But the Pirates currently hold a spot, and they've added some pretty good quality back-end bullpen help up to this point. So it's kind of fun to see the Pirates adding at the deadline. You're so used to them being bad and selling off pieces. So that's kind of refreshing to see. It's never fun when the Cubs acquire talent, though.
From the text line, it says that I just
turn
heard
your
Bernard
phone off.
Gilkey is coming back to the Cardinals.
Bernard Gilkey.
Shut
That's
up.
what this
Wow.
says, although it's spelled
That's a
with a U.
surprise.
And that's Ryan's actual text line on his phone, as you might have heard.
Is that what you got? Is that what the text said?
No, it just said my blood sugar was dropping.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
And I need an oatmeal cream pie,
Do you
which
need to
somebody
leave?
also commented on.
You can go if you need to.
Ethan,
Thank you.
I see people talking, maybe wishful thinking, that Jackson Holliday and the Cardinals have been part of discussions and rumors, which would be wishful thinking, but that would be really cool.
It's hard to know what all is true and what is not true around this time, but there were some rumors that potentially Jackson Holliday was available if the offer was right. And of course, he is the son of Matt Holliday, a former top prospect in the majors. In fact, Matt Holliday's other son, Ethan Holliday, was the number 2 pick in last year's MLB draft. So talk about good genes.
Matt Holliday being the Cardinals, as I recall, hitting coach for like 2 days, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
And then
that
he was
may
like,
have
oh,
been
no,
long
never
for
mind.
it. Yeah. Yeah. So, is there a chance that this happens?
That'd be fun.
Maybe it would. It would take a massive return from the Cardinals. They'd have to give up a pretty penny in order to receive that. So, we'll see what could happen. You know, I'm not putting anything off the table. There's been rumors about Alec Burleson being someone that teams are asking about. Lars Nootbaar, Riley O'Brien's still there. So 2 hours and 28 minutes until the deadline. It is at 5 o'clock Central Time, and we'll see what happens.
I would encourage y'all, if you haven't yet, if you follow this type of stuff on X, go to eChan 2N7, I believe, off the top of my head, and also Lou Sports Talk _
Lou Sports Talk _
Yeah, if you follow Ethan, he'll be on top of this. I know it's a big day for the Cardinals, and a lot of people looking to see where the rest of the season goes. A lot will be determined by what happens today, I would assume.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have trade deadline reaction that we are going to record tonight. It's going to come out tomorrow morning. Jeff Jones from the Belleville News-Democrat going to join us as well to react to all of the action from today. So, fun day so far. Hopefully the Cardinals aren't done yet.
Hot stove day, Ryan.
I love the hot stove day.
You know, that's what he said to me earlier. He said,
I did
do you know
say
what
that.
they call, things like this? They say the stove is hot.
Yeah.
It's like, thank
Ryan
you.
said that to you?
He said that to me.
Oh
I didn't
I
know
think it was
if
the
he
first
knew.
thing he said to me this morning.
Talk about the show prep on the show for the sports segment. Ryan's like, so hot stove.
Thanks, Ryan.
eh?
Hot stove day, eh?
We'll be
Ethan?
right back. Don't go away.
You know, the old timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your politician's Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, allowing politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people, and the politician's Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside Forward 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, allowing a minority of the most liberal statewide voters in one district to effectively end our power to stop corruption and out-of-control spending and taxing.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom, 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the politicians' Amendments 4 and 5.
Paid for by Missourians for fair taxation.
It is not hard to destroy a college.
Last season, the podcast Campus Files brought you stories of fraternity drug rings, stolen body parts, campus cults, and more.
And now, Campus Files is back for another season.
There's a guy screaming into his phone. He's like, I just saw Charlie Kirk get assassinated right in front of me.
Every week is a new episode and a new story.
It was so chaotic.
It's almost like a university under siege.
Listen to and follow Campus Files, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Every trip to the grocery store costs more. Insurance premiums keep climbing.
You're working harder, but your paycheck isn't going as far. Missouri families deserve a state senator who's focused on making life more affordable. Mike Deering is fighting to lower costs for working families by cutting unnecessary regulations, reducing insurance costs through common-sense legal reforms, supporting good-paying Missouri jobs, and standing up for Missouri's farmers and small businesses. Mike Deering's conservative approach has earned the endorsement of the Missouri Farm Bureau and the Missouri Chamber PAC. Because Mike Deering will fight to strengthen Missouri's economy and help families keep more of what they earn. It's time for conservative leadership focused on lower costs, stronger communities, and a more affordable Missouri. Paid for by the Missouri Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Kara Korchis, President and CEO.
If you're a business or brand that's still paying for ads people skip or ignore, that's cute. Try a new method of advertising your customers can't mute. Join our mobile movement so you don't get left in our dust, because stationary billboards are a bust. Big, bold, loud, and in-your-face advertising that doesn't wait for traffic. We drive through it, bringing your business or brand right to your customers' eyes. You can't delete it, you can't trash it or swipe right. Hell, you can't even ignore it. The answer? The moving billboards, baby. We circulate around any high-traffic venue, capturing people's attention when they're making decisions. Inside stadiums, big brands compete for attention, but outside the stadium, we own the street media. Because in a world that's went mobile, your advertising should too. Try moving billboards. They really work. PinkTiger.ai.
Who do you trust the least? Is it the government, the media, politicians, or Donald Trump? I'm going to read a text here, even though Annie has got her hand in front of my face. She's trying to give me an oatmeal cream pie at the worst possible time. I'll take your pie.
I'll take 'em back.
No, I'll take your pie. Trying to do the time check, though. Andy says Trump covers it all. He's a politician, part of the government, and owns a media company with his own social media platform. As an individual, he's got a long list of lies as well. What do you think? Do you agree with Andy? Is Donald Trump your answer to this question? We'll find out right after this oatmeal cream pie. It is 2:37. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC.
What makes that a pie? I would think that that's a cookie sandwich. Oatmeal cream pie. I think it's a lie. I think there's deception involved. But his mouth is full of oatmeal cream pie right now, so he can't talk. Ryan?
You're asking the same question as Socrates and Plato.
Okay.
What is a pie, really? And I'm not talking about even mathematically.
Little Debbie philosophy.
I'm talking about what makes a pie.
What does make a pie? Filling.
I don't know. Crust?
Encasement?
Some sort of filling. And then what? I don't know. You could have tiny pies. You ever seen tiny pies, right?
Like personal
pan pies.
You know, PPPs.
Yeah, the PPP.
You can't take yourself seriously
when
right
you
now.
Get those, you pick those up every now and then.
Ryan, his phone is on silent, as any radio professional would have their phone on silent, correct?
Yeah.
It's not silent, though.
It's breaking through. I told Brad when you walked out to get me an oatmeal cream pie, I think my phone's getting old enough that when I turn it on silent and turn the volume down, there are things that apps just go, I can't even see that anymore. They just do sound now.
It's kind of like people.
I was playing a game the
I know
other day.
the rules are here and there's supposed to be something, but
Yeah.
I don't really care.
I'm not really sure. Yeah, so this one's like, I'm becoming obsolete and I'm an old man now, so I'm going to do whatever I want.
How do you know that your phone is male?
It talks to me.
I think you talk to it.
I know. At night, the phone sometimes comes alive and it tells me it's a boy.
What constitutes a pie, Brad?
I have never pondered this question before in my life. I would imagine that it's the crust and then the filling.
Can you have a pie without crust?
I've never seen a pie without a crust.
I don't think you can.
Can you have a pie without filling?
That's just a pie crust. I don't think there's any.
Just a pastry.
It's just an unrealized pie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what makes an oatmeal cream pie a pie.
Have you ever eaten a cream pie before? Like had a pie that's just a filling? Like it's just
like
fluff?
a coconut cream pie.
Well, no.
Which is maybe my favorite.
The kind of pies, and this kind of drives me crazy, so it's a little bit of a tangent. But whenever they do...
This whole thing is a tangent.
Yeah, this whole segment is. Whenever they do fundraisers, and they're like, oh, whoever raises the most, teacher so-and-so is going to get a pie in the face. It's not really a pie.
It's a metal pan with whipped cream in it.
With whipped cream. That's it. And that's not a pie.
So that's a lie, too.
That's a lie. And I didn't donate to this cause to see you lie to me right in my face.
You want them to get like a blackberry pie.
Yeah, I want somebody to like, oh, Grandma made this pie, but here it goes into Mr. So-and-so's face.
Let's shift here for a second. I want to talk before. Yes, this is enough of that. I want to talk about. No, you said no. Speaking of lying, talk about this Will Smith cut that I came across, and what would you say Will Smith has done really well? Like, if at this point in Will Smith's career, what do you go to Will Smith to get advice on?
Unbelievable rapper.
I mean, it's an art, so how could I judge your
second to that
taste?
Marriage.
Okay. I like that you imply that he's worse at rapping than being a husband. I would actually disagree of your order. What did he do to you?
Third.
That's like the meanest thing he can listen. Will Smith can understand if people are like questioning his ability as a married man. But you're like, let's get to the bottom of it. This man sucks at rapping.
You're not wrong. Third.
It's unbelievable.
Number 1, rapping. Number 2,
Yeah.
marriage. Number 3, award shows.
Which he won. Don't forget he won that award.
He's won a lot of awards. That's what I'm saying. He's a great man.
It's the way the system is. How about parenting?
Oh, yeah. Parenting is number 4 after award shows.
It's his fourth concern.
No, these are the things that I go to him for advice on.
Okay.
That's what you asked me.
Okay. I got you. I was just insinuating that he was bad at things, thinking that was the list that you were giving us. Here is, he's on some podcast. The microphone says heart, but I don't know what that is. But listen to his advice about parenting. He's saying he was bad at parenting because
we made a very, very, very terrible mistake with our children, and we went with radical honesty. I'm not advocating for it. We made a deal like from really young with our kids. The deal was if you tell the truth, you won't get in trouble. Right? The only way you can get in trouble in this house is if we find out you did something and you don't tell the truth. Wow. And it's a mistake. It's a mistake. It's a mistake. No, it's terrible because they do whatever they want and they just come tell you. It's awful. Don't try it. You want your kids to lie. You don't want to know some of the stuff your kids are thinking and doing.
The takeaway from Will Smith is radical honesty parenting philosophy. The takeaway is don't do what we did and tell them that they won't get in trouble if they tell us. Tell them instead to just lie about it. That was his takeaway. And he's laughing about this. Okay, so maybe, you come in the middle of a conversation. It's probably a long-form podcast. But he's talking about his parenting philosophy that he regrets here being radical honesty, with the understanding that as a parent, he told his kids, if you tell us about it, you're not going to get in trouble. That makes sense in the capacity, Ryan. I'm sure that you've thought this as your kids are getting older especially, but it tracks throughout the course of the years that, like, you have to be honest. The most important thing here is that there is a line of communication between parent and child, that you always feel safe, whatever your circumstances, in giving me, your mother, or your father, the truth. We will be with you in whatever mess you're in, but we have to function in truth. And his response is, I really screwed up as a parent. I should have told them to lie to me so I could be ignorant to the nonsense they were participating in.
This is like the reverse of the there are no absolute truths argument. It's the opposite, where he's saying no, nothing is wrong as long as you don't lie about it. Oh wait, so is something wrong?
Yes,
it's lying.
Yes.
So you just said there is an absolute there that you can't handle, and you just made that the only one, which doesn't make any sense.
We'll talk more about parenting. I want to ask you some questions about the parenting advice that he's giving here, or what you do in a situation where the truth is going to be problematic, but you can't twist it in order to make it non-existent when we come back here on the show. Plus, speaking of truth, who do you trust the least? The government, media, politicians, or Donald Trump? The poll results in 10 minutes from right now. Don't go away. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. I've talked to you a lot about the services they provide for those waterproof basement projects, yours included. Call them at 314-271-9900. But they do a lot of different foundational repair services. So the big one, like the basement waterproofing, maybe you've noticed some cracks in your wall that have caused the foundation shift that's taking place to come to your attention. There are a lot of different ways that your home foundation might be showing signs of struggle or trouble. Matt Hayes understands how to read those signs. And right now, they have 0% financing for 24 months on these big projects. So if you call them at 314-271-9900, you know this fix is in your future. Maybe you're putting it off because you think, gosh, it's going to be a big penny. Talk to them about how you can get the project done right the first time and invest your money wisely back into your home to restore that foundation. At HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Join me, Mark Reardon, along with our expert panel as we break down the biggest races, critical amendments, and results in real time.
Election coverage Tuesday, August 4th at 7 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Registered lobbyist Mike Deering is not the kind of guy you want in the state Senate.
Did you say he was a registered lobbyist?
Sure did. When conservatives like Tricia Burns tried to pass a bill to take back the 300,000 acres in Missouri allowed to be controlled by China, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against it. When conservatives like Tricia Burns fought alongside Missouri cattlemen to require foreign beef to be labeled, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against that too. While conservatives like Tricia Burns are fighting to protect your farmland from being paved over by data centers, lobbyist Mike Deering described Google's Montgomery County hyperscale data center as a
very positive thing.
Deering also endorsed liberal Democrat Chris Koster for governor and openly mocked President Trump. Registered lobbyist Mike Deering, anti-Trump, pro-Democrat, bought out by foreign ag interest, and in love with data centers. Take down Data Center Deering on August 4th. Vote America First conservative warrior Tricia Burns for state senate.
Paid for by Mo Constitutional Conservative Council PAC, Scott Lady Treasurer.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Tricia Burns never answers the call. Tricia Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Tricia Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Tricia Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Tricia Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Tricia Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job.
Let's Go Brandon PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Chris Foss, Treasurer.
We just listened to Will Smith on this Heart podcast. It sounded like they were maybe British or Australian or something like that. You couldn't hear as much of them speaking. But Will Smith was saying that he regrets the parenting. And he's saying this, I want to add that he's saying it in a kind of joking, laughing, haha, like, wow, we really screwed that up way. But he said that when raising his children, they said, if you tell us the truth, you will not get in trouble for it. I have said to my kids, if you lie to us, you're going to be in a whole lot more trouble than, whatever the circumstance provides. I don't really think my kid, I don't have any kids that are just repetitively deceitful. I'm trying to think of, I wasn't much of a liar, but, as a kid, you're always kind of like framing situations so that you can speak the truth, or whatever you say out loud is true, but maybe not like all the details. Were you a liar?
No.
Afraid
No,
to?
I was not.
Heavy conscience?
Yeah, I think so. The funniest thing as a parent is when you like, I'll come home from work once in a while, or come home from something, and two kids run up to you at the same time, and they are trying to tell their side to you first.
Yeah. Yelling.
Here's what happened.
Over the top.
Like, oh, great, here we go.
Do you go, here's what I do. I quickly assess, like, does this even matter at this point?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I don't care, work it out.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Yeah, I do that. It's probably the best way to go, although you can't do it 100% of the time. It's really hard when there's a conflict between kids and you can tell that both of them do have a point. And you know how your kids are too. So if they're like, oh, he was doing this, you're like, I've seen you do that before. And a lot of times the best answer is, I hear you. I'm not taking a side. Because that's what they want. They want you to pick.
Well, and you're also saying, like, you're both trying to pick at each other.
Yeah.
So, like, this is kind of a you thing.
The difference is, though, when it's not two kids fighting and you have to be the mediator, when you just have a kid who's done something wrong, then what happens?
I feel like if I would have lied to my parents, I know for a fact it would have been so much worse for me after the fact. I'm trying to think of any times where I really lied, and I can't think of any. My parents are listening. They're probably like, what about this time? What about this time? I don't really ever remember like trying to hold on deep to a secret or something like that. And, thinking back on it when you're a kid, like none of those lies would have been that big of a deal, really, in the end. You'd have to face your comeuppance there for a minute or whatever, but in the long run, lying always became the issue. It always became the situation. But you can't, like, should you be able to tell your parents something and because you told the truth, be consequence-free for whatever the actual truth is? I don't think that makes sense. Brad, were you a liar like as a kid? Were you a propensity to stretch or tell or couch the truth?
Oh, I always couched the truth. It was always putting a spin on something to benefit me or my situation or whatever it was. I wasn't in trouble all that often, so my mouth is what actually got me in trouble. So,
because you lied?
Lied, stretched the truth, whatever you want to call it. I thought I was telling the truth. I was just telling it in the best possible light. My parents would say, you lied to me about that. So that's how I would answer that question, which is what I would do when I was a kid.
Is that the truth, Brad?
That is my truth.
That's your
Annie.
version of the truth. That's the truth. Yeah. I mean, I've told the story before about how I forgot to do a book report in junior biology. I think it was anatomy and physiology biology. And so I realized the night before that this big book report was like, it was told at the beginning of the year, and I just completely forgot it existed. So I decided to write. It had to be on a book that had anything to do with science. So I naturally did Jurassic Park.
I remember this story now.
It's one I still have as much guilt today as I did then, because this would have been the year 2000. In the year 2000, the internet did not exist in any way, shape, or form the way it exists today. Like, I did not know what Google was in 2000. So what I did was, obviously I'd seen the movie Jurassic Park. I think it came out in like 1996, still kind of fresh in my mind. But I had Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park book upstairs in my dad's den. And I was like, I went up there and I looked. I think Andromeda Strain was up there too. I'm like, I don't know, I've never seen that movie. I'm not doing that.
Don't try.
So I didn't copy and paste somebody else's book report, but I went on the internet and found book reports that had been done on it. And I essentially did a non-cited research paper
on other
people's book reports and pulled in parts. And then I filled in, like, I did a lot of work on this paper, but it wasn't honest work. And I turned it in. I felt guilty turning it in. And it turned out that, like, half the class completely plagiarized their book reports when they turned it in. I remember Mrs. G coming up in front of the class and telling us about a thing called Google. She took passages from all of our book reports and put them in Google. And then I guess more than half the class cheated or something like that.
Wow.
And I kind of got wrapped up. I feel like I didn't cheat as much as they did, but I definitely did not read the actual book and put all the effort into it I was supposed to. It was dishonest. I got in trouble. I should have. And I'm 42 and I'm still uncomfortable with that one of my truths. But I just couldn't bear the burden of knowing that I was lying, because I don't even know if it was because I felt guilty because I lied. I knew I was going to get caught. You know what I'm saying? It like lurks over your shoulder and you know it's coming up on you. Who do you trust the least? The government, media, politicians, or Trump? Brad?
I'm going to say the government.
Ryan?
I'm going to say the government.
I'm probably going to say government as well, just because I don't look to the media. Like, that ship has completely sailed for me to like look at them and rely on what the media is saying. 4% of you, 191 votes in, 4% say Trump, 14% say politicians, 16% say government. It's almost a tie there. 66% of y'all said you trust the media the least. I'm sorry. On behalf of the media, Mark Reardon on 97.1 FM Talk, coming up next.
Sponsored by Ethos.
Wedding season is here, so make sure those